Okay. Hey, before I get on, it looks like I've been wearing the same sweatshirt, right? Yeah. But I actually put this on right before I went live last night, and then after that I went to bed. So I put it on today because I'm hanging out around the house, but I do not just stay around. And then I was like, oh crap, they're gonna say, yeah, I wasn't wearing it. Hey there, hey Deb on the move. So it's a hoodie anyway. Hi Hurricane Hunter, hi Chris Ree, hi Pat. I wear something under. Hi Anna, hi Mary Kim, hi Kathy, hi Raspberry. Sonia, Sakura Girl, Maddie Jean, Elise, Whisper to Me, Deb on the Move, I Got You, Mary Warren, Lonnie, Peggy Sue, Lisa, Steph, Dale, hey Dale, haven't seen you in a while. Hey there, Earthbound, hey Deb on the Move, so, oh, hold on a minute, I'm playing it's a hoodie anyway. Hi Hurricane Hunter, hi Chris Ree, hi Pat. That was weird. You know why? Because I went to edit the video for to put the audience and it didn't load up, so I went back. I'll be right back. I don't know why it just won't do this every time for me, why I have to keep doing this on a per video basis here. Okay, and let's go towels, and it's still got the wrong title in it too. Okay, that's good. Hang on. Okay. There we go. Where were we? Earthbound, I got Evie. Hi, Ivy Lynn, Sakura, I got you guys. Ann Fox, Gigi, hey Gigi. Julie T, My Full Heart and Hands. You're awake. Oh, before I forget, I've got a special prayer for Carol's Clark's daughter. Hold on a minute. Okay, she said, Dear Carol, and this is Carol Clark from our community here. She has sunflower picture with purple. You know who I'm talking about? If you would please say a prayer and pass the message on to the Ramblers, I would really appreciate it. My daughter is 29 years old and was admitted to the hospital for a kidney infection. And we have been told she has developed sepsis. She will be on IV antibiotics for 3 days, and if she responds well, we can bring her home on Friday. I am grateful for prayers for her. Blessings, Carol Clark. Of course, Carol, she's in my prayers, and the Ramblers, I'm sure will be praying for her as well. You know, prayers for a full recovery and that she responds well and she comes home on Friday. Hi AriesGirl, hi Alicia, hi Honey Boo Boo. This is your first live, but I wanted to come in and officially. Oh, thank you, Honey Boo Boo. Welcome, and thank you for your condolences. Hi Purple Passion. Carol Boyce, Jana Dew, Donna Brooks. Hello, Carolyn. Pray for my brother-in-law. Oh, really? Purple Passion? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Definitely, please, Purple Passion. Her brother-in-law is dying of cancer. His last rites were given. Definitely praying for him, and I know the Ramblers will as well. You guys are not on for long. Yesterday was my extended family Christmas. This was my year to plan it, so I'm exhausted. Oh, dude, bro. Yeah, chill. Hi, Kristen. Kristen. What was the other thing that we had to get a hold of you the other time you're on? I'm like, oh, it was Kristen. It was Kristen. and then I couldn't get a hold of you again. What was that about? I don't remember. I'm slowly losing my mind. I think I really am. There's too much stuff to get, like, to keep up with in this community. Sometimes I can't remember. Like, I thought I saw something at a different time, and then I saw something that showed it to me that happened to another. I'm like, what the heck? Did that happen again? Or was that deja vu? Was that the exact thing playing out again? I don't know. I was so freaked out earlier. I know I'm not making any sense, but just trusted to say I was freaked out. I didn't know where I was, like, in my mind. Yeah, but I can't remember what I was trying to get you about. You had sent me something. I can't even remember what it was. You hear that losing your mind thing? Yeah, I'm telling you, I really do. I see things and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought that happened last week. You know, did it happen last week? And it happened 2 months ago and everything just keeps circling around with the same thing over and over? I don't know. Hey, Jessica. Hi, April. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Bella. Hi, Sam. Daisy Love. You were in the hospital for that a few years ago, and the staff put the fan so close to you for so long you nearly died? Wow. I'm glad you didn't. Hi, Karen McCann. Hi, Pat Miller. Luca77, hello. Sarah, hi. Jeanette, hello there. I know I probably missed a bunch of people. Tamlin. Is it Shaden? Okay, I think we have to get this one that I can't pronounce out. I don't think. Did we get them out? What do you guys think about that? I think that's a troll there, right? Hey, Scooter. Please pray for my daughter. She is 15 weeks pregnant and is in the ER with cramping and spotting. Oh no. Absolutely, Chris Ray. Chris Ray, are you the one with the 2 pregnant daughters? I can't even remember anymore, but absolutely prayers for your daughter. That's you? Okay, I hope everything's okay. Prayers for that. Hi, Amy's Justice League. Hi, Joni. Hey, Vala. You go, girl. Hi there, you go, girl. Haven't seen you in a few days. Leisha, I got you. Maddie Jean. Carolyn A. Hi. Whisper to me. There you are. Hello there. Okay, and you know, if I missed you, it's not on purpose. I see you too. Okay, I think, anybody think that, I don't know what that can one of the mods check out that, I don't know if it's Chadeny or whatever, whoever it is. I don't know if that makes any sense of what she's saying or if that's really lewd. So hey, Kelly Finelli. Hey, Hennessy's #1 fan. Hi, Robin. Hey, Tracy B. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Leah. Mommy, no one more than me. Hi, Deborah. Where's Eric, Hennessy? What's Eric doing? He doesn't have time for us anymore? He hates us? Hey, Jen. Kombucha doesn't go bad, right? Please tell me kombucha doesn't go bad. Like in the refrigerator? How long can you keep kombucha? I guess so, Jess. I thought it was pretty bad. Hey, Chatty Cathy. Hey, Tico. Like, how could you really taste if it went, like, I can't see a date, like, you've not been to bed yet? Hi, Backdoor. What's the matter, Daisy? Who are you talking about, Daisy? Feels like it was a heavy year. Oh, I have something. Bella Mac said she saw an idea somewhere. Now listen to this. Who knows? It's fermented anyway, right, Carol? Yeah. Okay. So it could only get better. When in doubt, throw it out. Your mom used to say that, and a lot of other people say, well, if it tastes okay, who cares? No. Hi, VA girl. Okay. So, what was I going to say? Oh, Bella Mac. See, this is scary. I'm telling you. I'm having some issues here. Okay. Bella Mac saw this thing that you take an empty jar and you start off. When are you starting this off on the first New Year's Day? You start this the first time? You do this was this every day or was this a weekly thing? Is this every day, Bella, or is it the week thing? You still need to try it too, Scooter? You do. Okay, but Bella, is it a weekly thing or a daily thing? And Bella Mac, I didn't get to check the last. I used a voice to text for my last text to you, and when I was leaving it, I did not get to look over it to see if it was proofread correctly, and the phone rang and I never got back to it. So if that message is crazy, just understand it was a voice to text. You see the Grinch? Yeah, see the Grinch? He changed him again. See, I don't even know it. He knows to change the Grinch every day. I don't know how he even remembers that, because I don't even remember it, but he remembers it. If you guys don't see me this week, please keep me. I have a dental appointment for the, oh, okay, Apple Snapple. We'll be thinking and praying for you. Okay, so did Bella Mac answer me? Evie Scorpio, hello there. No, it's not a swear jar. Hi, DeAndy. Weekly or daily? Okay. All right, so weekly or daily, you take an empty jar, okay, a mason jar, or I don't know, you could take a really big jar, whatever kind of empty jar you want. The puppy is good, Ivy. The puppy is, I think she's in bed, he's in bed for the night. The puppy liked all his toys for Christmas and stuff, yeah. No, it's not a money jar. Though I always liked that idea from A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, but then I think like I would forget to put the money in there. But yeah, I always thought it was a neat thing. But anyway, she says that you put one good thing that happened either that day or I guess that week, and everybody in your family can do it. And then on New Year's Eve, you read all the little slips of paper about each good thing that happened. And then you see how many good things happened that year. Because sometimes it feels like it's not a wish. No, you put good things that happened, like that day or that week. You put nice things about you in them. Well, that happened. Like, so you could say something good that happened. Like, today you're, I don't know, come on, people, give me something. You need to have a bad jar? No, you don't want the bad jar. A highlight of your day jar? Yeah, that's good. A highlight of your day jar. That's kind of better, a highlight. Because, like, okay, so today I ran into my friend from high school that I haven't seen in years, and we had lunch together. That would go in there. Right, birth of a baby, you bought a new puppy, you, I don't know, how, whatever it is, you got a job promotion, you won the lottery, you put your jumper on the right way. And then that's a good idea, and a good movie too. A good movie too? You mean it's a good idea for a movie? Or you mean that's a good idea and then watch a good movie as well? And then she wants me to remind you, like every Friday, and Janelle would be a great person because she remembers everything, that it's, did you fill up your jar? Did you put your stuff in your jar? It's time to fill up your jar. And we're supposed to do that, like an annoying alarm clock. You didn't murder anyone, right? You walked away from the situation. They dropped the charges. You're not a suspect anymore. Okay. The movie is a good idea. A tree grows in Brooklyn. Oh, the movie. The book is what I've read. I've never seen the movie. The book is what I've had. You don't have to go out in the ice and snow. I hope so. I see you, you see me. It's great to do. We've been doing this since our daughter was in grammar school. She's 24 now and still puts notes in the jar when she comes home. Oh, really? That's great, Kelly. You didn't get caught. Dear moderators, you're so sweet. Hey, Christine, you spotted a bird of prey, right? Hi, Cece. Hey, Kathy from Texas. My kid got paroled early. Did you get my email to add me to Slack? No, I didn't, Merlin. Are you emailing it to me at True Crime Chat? I hope you're not doing it to Mommy Rambling's email, because Mommy Rambling's email, I'm so far behind in that, I'm worse, so far behind, and I get scared. I'm so far behind I don't even want to go and open it. You haven't, hi Crystal, you haven't missed anything yet. I woke up, yeah, that's always good. Carla, hello. Kaza, hi. Please make sure, because you could be putting .com, Sometimes there's a little mistake on the email, and that's what's going on. No, we don't go out. Mm-mm. We stay here, and we are living it up because we have Jimmy went out, and I had already bought sparkling grape juice, and Jimmy bought 2. Jimmy, how many bottles of sparkling stuff did you buy? 2? So we have 3. We have 3 sparkling beverage bottles, and he bought some flavored ginger ale. So we are all set. We are going to be really partying. I don't know if I'm going to be able to come on because I might be, 3 sheets to the wind. But yeah, right. You went out and you bought 4 different sizes. Oh, yeah. Alicia, I think everybody should do that. I was going to say that. Somebody said, oh, I'm so sorry I missed it. And I've been saying that since it's there. Just because you missed it doesn't mean you can't put it on replay and do it again. And then you could fast forward through all of the 5 hours of, I don't know what we were doing. But no, somebody that said to me a long time ago, I'm going to do this. I said, please go ahead. I want to see how yours, because you're very artistic, I want to see how yours will turn out. I almost want to do it again. I have a bunch of canvases. Maybe, I'd like to see how Jimmy try to do it, because we were watching a Bob Ross the other day, actually. I forget what day we were watching that. But yeah, I have canvases downstairs. I mean, somebody should try to do it. Go ahead. What would be alive to remember? Are you a little tipsy? You've seen me fall asleep. I know. Yeah, copy it from there, Merlin, and send it to me. Just copy, believe it or not, people say, I'm emailing you, and there's little something wrong with it. I'm telling you, go right to the video description and copy it. Right from the video description. Oh yeah, Janelle? I'm fussing at it a lot. You're fussing at it a lot. Mrs. Roger Rabbit. Is Mrs. Roger Rabbit here? I didn't see her come in. Oh, there's Jennifer James. Hello there. Okay, so a couple of people sent me cases to look at, and I just want to go over some of them with you, what I was sent here. So one of the ones, AriesGirl, let me see, sent, was this one that said, a couple who buried son in backyard lose custody of their other kids. And here's what she said about it. Hang on. This case is closed now, is what she said. I'm just wondering if you could do a podcast about it to put it out so that they know it's not forgotten. Random, I know, but it's close to my heart, as this was my brother that was murdered. Okay, this was your brother that was murdered? Wow, okay. Casey Anthony is basically the candy-coated PG version of my biological mother. Same stories of a kidnapped missing child. Almost the same amount of time too. However, my brother was never missing, as he was buried in the backyard. They weren't able to be charged with first-degree murder because the only one to witness was me, and I was 5.5 at the time, so I was too young to testify. Also, my brother's body was too badly decomposed. They buried him in 2 black trash bags for the medical examiner to find the cause of death. Biological mother only got 5 years for neglect on my other brother, who was 1 at the time. She was pregnant at the time. My other brother was born a few months after the arrest. Her boyfriend, James Thomas, was convicted of second-degree murder and only spent 16 years in prison. He also pulled a knife on a prison guard. He now lives in Spanish Fork, Utah, and is remarried. Lots of kids live in that neighborhood. It's a lot to take on. I'm happy to answer any questions. So I'm just going to read this, what she sent me, and then, discuss if we want to delve into it further. Let's see. When I read it the first time, I didn't even know. I looked at the article. I didn't even get to read what you wrote. I had no idea it was your brother. Okay. A Roy couple who admitted to burying one of their children in the backyard after he died in their home have lost custody of their other children. Jim and Debbie Thomas learned on Friday that the 2nd District Juvenile Judge Robert Newey terminated their parental rights and that the remaining 5 children will now be put up for adoption. I'm really hurt, says Debbie Thomas during a telephone interview from the Utah State Prison. I feel really empty and cold. The body of Nicholas McGuire was found December 17, 1990, wrapped inside 2 plastic garbage bags and buried in the couple's backyard. Roy police believe the 5-year-old boy was murdered November 11, 1990, and his remains disposed of the following night. Jim Thomas, the boy's stepfather, pleaded guilty to the boy's murder and was sentenced to serve from 5 years to life in prison. He was sentenced in February 1991 by Judge Ronald O. Hyde. Debbie Thomas was sentenced the same day by the same judge. Following her guilty pleas to child abuse, she was sentenced to serve up to 5 years. Okay. Weber County Attorney Reed Richards and Debbie Thomas said Debbie Thomas was not charged for committing the abuse, but because she allowed her husband to inflict the abuse on the 6 children. Richards also stated that the autopsy report was inconclusive as to the cause of Nicholas's death. A parole hearing for Jim Thomas is set for the spring of 1994. Debbie Thomas will be released from prison in 1994. The county's attorney office started proceedings against the Thomases while the two were in prison in an attempt to terminate the parental rights with the 5 surviving children. A hearing took place on April 13th, and the proceeding took 4 days to complete. Newey reduced his decision Friday, and Debbie Thomas learned through her attorney that she had lost custody of her children. Deputy Weber County Attorney Gary Howard prosecuted the case and declined any comment. He said juvenile court records are private and information is restricted from the general public. Debbie Thomas said she may never see her children again. She has a 10-year-old son, an 8-year-old daughter, 5-year-old daughter, 2-year-old daughter, and a 1-year-old son. She also has a 3-year-old son living in Chicago who wasn't affected by the ruling. Jim Thomas lost custody of his children, his wife's 2 youngest children. Okay, so let me try to figure this out, AriesGirl. So a 10-year-old son, an 8-year-old daughter, you're the 5-year-old daughter? How are you? I'm confused. Did they have the age wrong here of the little boy? It sounds like they have his age wrong because they said he was 5.5, unless I read that wrong. 5-year-old, was he your twin brother? I'm very confused now. Hold on, I have to go back to the chat because I'm already confused. Do you want to call in? Do you want to call in and talk about this with me, AriesGirl? Because I'm a little confused already. And I haven't even finished. I believe AriesGirl is here. I think I saw her. I'm trying to find if AriesGirl is here. Oh, there you are. Do you want to call in and talk about this? Can I send you the number because I'm confused? I'll send you the number. I'll send it to you now. I'll just reply to your email. Okay. Okay, I sent it to you. What is it, Pat Miller? Pat Miller's, what is it, Pat Miller? What's up? No, that's not Jimmy. Jimmy's not playing. Oh, the light's on in my cabinet? Okay, well, it'll go off. You're focused on the cabinet now? Which? Oh, over there? There must be something sticking out. This is the doors. Look now. Oh no, that's not. That's a cursor. If I put my head like this, then you won't. Then you won't see it. I'm not going to stand like that. Hey Ethan, can you check that door in that cabinet? Jimmy? Uh-oh. Got an issue with the cabinet. Hi. Hi, can you hear me? Hi.
Hi, is it working?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Great. So, oh, first of all, I'm sorry. I
Sorry.
didn't realize when you sent that to me, I just looked at the headline and I said, it sounds interesting. I had no idea it was your family, or I wouldn't have just sent that, you know what I mean? Sent it back and say, hey, it sounds interesting. So I hope you understand that now. I didn't know that was your family. Second, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Sorry for the loss of your brother there. And now, can you tell me more about, like, were you both 5 or is that a misprint?
It's a misprint. He was a year older than me.
Oh, so he was 6?
Yes, like 6.5. He had barely gone to kindergarten, but then they pulled him out of kindergarten, and like a few months later, they killed him.
Okay, and you were living in Utah?
Yes, it's in Roy, Utah.
And where was so your mom was remarried, right?
They actually didn't get married. They went to Vegas to get married, but they took too many drugs and used all their money that they had taken to Vegas to get married on drugs, and didn't have enough money to get married. So the news article got it wrong and said that they were married, but they actually were not.
Okay, and she was at what? So like, how many? The youngest 2 kids were his kids with her?
Yes, she was pregnant at the time she was arrested, and she had a 1-year-old boy with him too.
Oh, I see. Okay, 1 year, and then all the other kids were your biological fathers?
No.
No.
And then, so I have 2 older half siblings that a boy and a girl. And so my older brother and then my older sister, um, they're still alive. And then there was Nicholas. We call him Nicky. And then there was me. And then there was another little boy, but he was sold for drugs. And they don't actually know if he's alive or not or where he was at. And then my two little brothers that are half brothers. Um, my two older siblings, it's really confusing, sorry. My two older siblings, they have the same dad. And then my Nicholas that died, he had the same dad as them too. And then I recently found out who my biological dad is. I haven't talked to him. And then the other two that we know of that, well, that's not true. One of them died in 2014 in a car accident. He was killed in a motorcycle accident, but um, they have the dad that was the murderer. And my biological mom sat on a couch, smoked a cigarette, and laughed while it all happened, and then lied about it and said she wasn't even there. So
How old were
I
they?
just was wondering if you could put it out there because they think
Sure.
they got away with it all, and I just would hate for anything to happen and have nobody know,
Right.
like if they were to do something again.
Sure. How old was your mother at the time?
Well, she's like 50. Crap, I can't remember her
So
exact
she was in her
year
20s
anymore.
or something, somewhere in her
Yeah,
late
she had to have
20s.
been like
Well,
in
she had a
her
10-year-old, so
late
she late
20s.
20s. Yeah, okay. Um, and she's out, right? She only served 5 years.
Right, and she only served neglect on my brother, that was one at the time because he, had, like, the worst diaper rash ever, where he was in the hospital for, like, 5 weeks because of it, when they pulled us out of the home.
And
So
they didn't keep you all together.
nope. My two older siblings were taken to a different foster home because they had sexual abuse problems, because they were both sexually abused. And then I was not, but I was physically abused for the first 5.5 years of my life. And so I had um, they didn't at the time, and I remember this clear as day when the police officers were taking us back from the hospital and to our own, like to the foster homes. Um, my two older siblings got out of the car and they told me I had to wait in the car. And then I didn't get to go with them. And then my little brother was still in the hospital. And then my adoptive parents and they're amazing. My mom, that I call her my mom now, that adopted me, she always told me she didn't, because she couldn't have kids, that I didn't grow in her stomach, but I grew in her heart. And she has always been a mother to me. So she is my mom. But and I don't talk to my biological mother, but she occasionally texts me and sends me stupid, messed up Facebook messages.
Oh, she's on
And
Facebook.
yes.
I thought you couldn't be on Facebook if you is it? Oh, it's isn't it? What is it? If you're some type of an offender, you're is it just sexual
Well, she's
offenders or
clearly on Facebook. So,
it's not child abuse, right? Okay, it's just I think it's just sexual offenders. I don't know. I know that there's some kind of. I thought okay. Um, and so did she ever remarry and have more kids?
um, she got her, she got a hysterectomy in prison.
Oh, really?
She got ovarian cancer,
Oh, wow.
and thankfully she can't have any more. Um, and then she did get remarried, and her last name is Anderson now, but they got divorced a couple years ago, and now she lives in Missouri.
Yeah, she lives in Missouri. There's a tie back to Missouri again. Um, so she lives in Missouri, and your stepfather, you said he's out in Utah, and he hasn't had more kids, but he's around kids, right?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of kids in the neighborhood. And they own a house. He has his own business and like some travel business or whatever. But yeah, they live like normal. They go do normal things and nobody knows. And it's just appalling to me.
Okay, and what was I
They
gonna ask
like
you?
you could be walking around in public and have no idea that the person you just walked past in Target murdered a little boy and had this huge history of being a horrible person.
And how you said you witnessed how your brother was killed?
Yes, my brother, he stepped in because I was looking at this book and apparently I had like colored a piece in it, or they said I colored it. He got mad, he started beating on me, and my brother stepped in. And if it weren't for my brother, I wouldn't be here. So,
So he beat him
yeah,
for coloring in the
yes. And
book?
the older two kids were at school. My younger brother was in a crib, and then she was pregnant with my other brother at the time.
And then he beat him like, I mean, and your mother was sitting on the
Yes.
couch at the time
Yes, she sat on a couch, smoked a cigarette, and laughed while it all happened.
and laughed.
Yep.
That they were obviously on drugs?
Yeah.
What kind of drugs were they doing?
Well, they were wanted in like 7 states for drug charges, and I think it was 9 states for child abuse, like in neglect. And they just kept running from child family services. But I know that they did cocaine. I know they did meth, um, a whole bunch of stuff.
And then when he killed him, right? Did he go
Right.
back to you at all, or did he snap out of it? Did he?
He did, and then I got locked in my room, and then after they were done like figuring out what they were gonna do with him, they put him into black plastic garbage bags and put him in my closet. And my room was empty. It only had a mattress on it, and I was never allowed out of my room unless I was getting the crap kicked out of me. So as soon as I saw like the doorknob handle turn, I knew it was going to happen. So um, he stayed in my closet for 2 days. I was stuck in there with him. I wasn't let out at all during that time. And then they took him out, and then like maybe it seemed like not that long, maybe it was like 15 30 minutes, and then they made me stand at the window and watch while they buried him in the backyard. And that was the very first time I ever saw snow, was when my brother was being buried in the backyard.
Oh my
So
gosh! And
yeah.
did you say anything at this time, or you just?
I wasn't really allowed to say anything. If I misbehaved or I ever talked out of turn or did anything, then I knew I was getting the crap kicked out of me. They used to do things like they would count to 10 and I had to go hide. And if I didn't do a good job hiding, then my beating would be more severe than if I did a good job hiding. But I mean, either way, it was still going to happen. Um, I weighed 28 and a half pounds and I was 5.5. I couldn't even walk across a road without having to stop in the middle because I had no energy to do it. So it was
Mm,
awful.
wow, that's horrible. That's horrific. I'm sorry. That is just. What about when the older kids came home from school? Did
When the older kids came home from school, they told them that Nikki went to live with her mother in Iowa because that's where her family's from. And so they believed them. And then she worked at a JB's restaurant, and which is like they don't have them anymore in Utah, but it's kind of like an IHOP or whatever. And like like they have them by the hotels and stuff. Anyways, she worked as a waitress, and she went back to work like nothing happened, and told her friends that he went to go live in Iowa. And then a week later, then she told the people at her work that I guess one of them had asked like how it was going with her son being gone, and she said, "Oh, well, he's missing." And there was a retired police officer sitting at the counter where, like, just having breakfast, and he thought it was really weird how she was acting because she said he was missing and she didn't really care at all. She didn't have any emotion, nothing. It was just very nonchalant. And he said that she said that he went missing. He was taken from the yard at the grandma's house, and that the police like were doing everything they could. And he came back another week later to like find an update or whatever. Nothing happened after that, and it was about a month that went by where he was missing, even though he actually was not missing at all. And then he kept thinking it was really fishy, and finally he went to because he was retired at the time. He went back to the station and was like, "Something is wrong. There's something really wrong going on." And then they looked into it, and then it was like a few days later, the FBI stormed the house and took us out of the house.
Okay, and then the baby she had in prison was then given to a separate home, right?
Nope, same one that I was in. My adoptive parents
Oh,
adopted me and my two little brothers all at the same time. Well, it took like a couple, like I think theirs took a while longer than mine,
oh,
but they adopted all three of us and we got to stay together. So my two older siblings, we had a little bit of contact with them, but like I said, they had issues with like sexual abuse, and
now
so
who was
they
doing that
didn't
to
want
them?
what?
Who was doing that to them?
Both the mom and her boyfriend.
They were both abusing the older kids, like sexually.
Right. There was, and what's really messed up is that I went to lots of counseling until I was like 10 years old. And when I didn't find out about the sexual abuse until I was 10, and the day I found out about that, I was so shocked. I went home and cried and cried and cried because for the longest time, I didn't understand why they got treated so much better than me, and they had clothes and food and like toys, and I never had any of that. And they had to sneak me food. And so it was just so confusing to me for so long, and I always wondered why that happened. But then I found out that it was because they were being sexually abused. And so they were treated so much better. And I guess that's normal when a child is being sexually abused. They'll treat them better because they want them to do things for them. Um, anyways, when I found that out, the counselor told me about how um, a neighbor came forward after everybody was arrested and said that they had seen my two older siblings doing sexual things in the front yard, and they were naked, and my biological mother was in the front yard there. And the neighbor said, "Well, what is going on? This is wrong." And I guess she was like, "Don't tell me what to do with my kids. I'll do whatever the hell I want." And then shortly after, they went inside, and no one called CPS, no one did anything,
Wow.
which is insane to me because, I mean, granted, that was a different time, but
Yeah, still,
it's,
it was
yeah,
what was it in the 90s, the early 90s?
yeah.
Yeah, come on, Ned. Yeah.
If that happened now, they would still be in prison,
I mean, I can't believe somebody wouldn't have called even in the early 90s with that happening. You know what I mean?
right?
Yeah, that's really odd.
I
Um,
mean, it wasn't the best neighborhood, but it wasn't
Still,
like the worst neighborhood either. So I don't, I don't know.
wow. Okay, that's crazy. And did they ever show any remorse? Either of them?
Nope.
No.
My biological mom, she wrote my older sister some letters, and I was shown those at like 16, and she lied about everything, and she just kept telling this bullshit story. Sorry, swore on your live. Um, she kept telling the story of like how she wasn't there. She came home, she didn't know, like, which is all a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And she never has talked to me the same as she talks to my older siblings because she knows I know. And she her husband, I emailed her when I was 16, and I emailed her a really not very nice email. I said something like, "Well, I hope you can sleep well at night knowing you murdered your own son." Like, I was pretty bitter at the time. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm still bitter, but I've grown through a lot of it over the years. And he wrote me back and said, "Don't you ever message again. She's doing really good now. And that's horrible that you could even message that." And so I never tried to like reach out to her. But then when my brother was killed, um, in a motorcycle accident in 2014, she actually showed up at the hospital
Mm-hmm.
because my older half brother, he had messaged her, like texted her and told her he was in the hospital, and they used to live in St. George, Utah, which is like the southern part of Utah. And we live in on like the Wasatch Front. And so she came up, and it was really crazy because I had just lost my husband and my grandma, and then we had just gotten home, and then we had to come back to Utah because my brother was killed in the accident and was on life support for 5 days. Well, I'm going in and riding up the elevator, and lo and behold, this woman is across from me in the elevator, and she looks just like my biological mother. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm losing my freaking mind. And so then I rode the elevator back down and went out to my car and went to go pop an Ativan because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hyperventilating. I can't go up to the ICU like this. My mom will lose it.
Yeah.
And this lady, she followed me all the way down. She didn't ever say anything, and she followed me almost all the way out to my car. And I went out there and I popped two out of van, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need to calm down." My mom, this was, and it turned out to be my biological mother because my mom, my actual like my
Right. You're,
adopted mom, she calls me on the phone and is like, "Where are you? I thought you were here." She's like, "We're in the cafeteria now. Come meet us at the cafeteria." So I go to the cafeteria, and my mom's like, "Are you high?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "What is wrong with you?" And so then I told her that I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want to upset her. And my adopted dad looked at me and says, don't you?" And I said, "What?" And then I was like, "Okay." My mom's like, "What is going on?" And so then I told her, I was like, "The weirdest thing just happened to me. And I really might need to go see psych because I really think I just saw my biological mother in the elevator and she rode up with me." And that's when my adopted dad says, "No, you're not losing it. She actually was here." And I told her that when I came into the ICU, I saw her with your brother, and I told her she could only have 2 minutes, and then she had to leave because before you and your mom got here, because you'd both lose your minds, and it would be very traumatizing. And um, that's how our family has always been. We've always been very forgiving and very accepting of people, and we never pressed charges against the woman who was texting and driving that hit my brother. He had just survived. This is insane too. He had just survived a 14-month deployment to Iraq and came home and was killed 2 months later in a motorcycle accident. And what's even more crazy is that he died not even a mile within where my other half brother was murdered. So it's just really crazy. Um,
okay. So
and
wait,
you,
this brother that died
right.
was he the 1 year old?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other brother that was murdered, he was which one?
Nicholas, 6.5.
No, okay, that one, yeah, no, that one I know, but I think you said there was another one that.
Yes, there was another one under me, and they named him Anthony, but they didn't know. FBI could never find out if he was actually really alive or not because she sold her baby for drugs and she couldn't remember who she sold him to.
uh,
Yep.
Okay, so but she could have, let's just say, sold him to let's say a couple that really wanted a baby, right? Would be the best case
I
scenario,
hope so.
and
I
that took
hope
care of
so.
him, hopefully. But yeah, she just sold him, and she doesn't know who.
Nope,
Nothing.
she doesn't know. And I asked back to what you said if I talked to her. That was like when I had met, like, actually seen her. And then she messaged me on Facebook after that, and like the same, like within 30 minutes. And then she sent me her number, and I texted her and told her not to show up to my brother's funeral because if she did, I would beat the shit out of her because, well, I was grieving and that was a lot for me to take in. And I knew, like, and I was being protective of my adopted mom because when my dad told me that it was actually her and we were all sitting around this table, my mom started crying and my mom was like, I can't deal with this. She's not her mom. It's not fair. And I was being protective of my mom. And I texted her and I was like, do not come to the funeral. And as a photographer, I told her that I will take good pictures and I will send them to her as long, because she knew I was a photographer, as long as she didn't show up to the funeral. And she didn't, which is a good thing because I probably would be in jail because I would have punched her in the face. Um, I, I'm not a violent person, but I cannot imagine ever seeing her again and not wanting to just deck her in the face. I think it would make me feel better. Throat
Right.
punch someone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't because I've taken the high road on everything my whole life, but really, she's really someone who could take a chair to the face. Um, but yeah, so I texted her, and every now and then she texts me, like on my birthday, she'll say happy birthday. This last Mother's Day, she sent me a message asking me, this is insane, asking me to join her Mary Kay team because maybe that would help me.
She does Mary
She could
Kay.
help
Wait,
me.
wait. She does Mary Kay.
Yes, and she asked me if I would like to join her Mary Kay team to help give back to me. And I was like, are you kidding me? I never replied. I never responded.
Oh
But
my
I was
gosh.
so appalled because I was like, you really have the audacity to ask me to join your Mary Kay team, which would give you money and make me work for you after everything you've done for our family and to me. And no, that would never happen.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, she's crazy,
I'd
but
like to see.
she,
I would love to see her Mary Kay page with her bio. That,
right?
yeah. Right.
I'll send you her Facebook information so you can peep her. And what's really crazy is that she will send messages and tell me like Happy Mother's Day, Merry Christmas, and she'll send like stupid little like things about um like being a good mom. And I'm like, who are you? Like, you couldn't be more in denial if you tried. And I flat out told her, I remember watching her sit on the couch, smoke a cigarette, and laugh while it all happened. And she flat out denies it. And she says, well, I don't remember. And I've asked her to just tell me the truth, and she won't do it. And she says, the truth I know isn't the truth you know. And that's all she said to me. And whenever I press her for answers, she will tell me to F off. And that um, when I was younger, when they were pulling us out of the home, it's really creepy because when they were about to raid our house, they were actually packing up the house to move. And if they had been a few hours later, we wouldn't have been there and I probably wouldn't be alive. And who knows if my younger siblings would be alive. or my older siblings. But when they were pulling us out, they actually were going back into the house to get me. I was the last thing they were going to get. And then she was telling me if I ever said anything, they would kill me. And that so I was terrified when everything happened, and I
Yeah.
didn't know who to trust, and I couldn't testify because they told me they would kill me. And when you're 5.5, you believe that, especially if you've suffered your whole life of the hands of abuse. And like I was thrown through um, a glass back door window, like the doors with like the glass windows and stuff. I was
Mm-hmm.
thrown through one of those. Um, I have been beat with a baseball bat. I have been had a gun shoved in my mouth. I have had a gun put to my head, to my front of my face, to the back of my head. Basically, anything you can think of, it's been done.
Ugh.
Um, so I don't know, for a long time, they changed our last names. Um, I
Mm-hmm.
don't go by my first name because of that. And they changed, like when my birth certificates changed, everything was changed. Um, and my older siblings, the same thing. And then once we turned 18, we have the option of unsealing the case
Mm-hmm.
to find out like more details. I just haven't ever pursued it. I'm 32 now, so almost 33, but it doesn't, I don't know. I haven't looked into it because there's not really anything I would find out that I don't already know.
And then your
I
youngest brother, uh, he's where is he? The one that was she was pregnant with your
He is healthy and he is married, and they just had a little boy a year ago. He'll be 2 this spring.
Mm-hmm.
He's super cute. My brother that was killed in a motorcycle accident, he has a little boy that is 7, no, 8. Yeah, has a little 8-year old. Um, and he looks just like him too. Um, And then my older sister, she has 2 little girls. And then my older brother, he doesn't have any kids, but he was in the military
Mm-hmm.
also. He was in the army. And then my little brother that was killed in a motorcycle accident, he was also in the army. So, I mean, they grew up to do good things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
And you said you lost your husband?
Yes, my husband was in the military and died within like a month before my brother. So it was my husband, and then
He
my
died a
grandma died
month
on my
before your
birthday.
brother died?
Yeah. So my husband died, then my grandma died 2 weeks later on my birthday. And then my husband um, and my brother, they also share the same birthday, which is really weird. And they're buried yards apart from each other in the VA cemetery down at Camp Williams.
Oh my gosh,
So,
I'm sorry to hear
yeah.
that. Did you have any children?
Yeah, we have 2 little girls. They're both in 3rd grade. Um, they're
Twins?
amazing. No, they're I have an 8.5-year-old and a 9.5-year-old. My oldest has Asperger's,
Mm-hmm.
and she I kept her back a year because when she was going into kindergarten, she didn't want to go in yet because everything that had happened with her dad. She didn't want to be. She told me that she couldn't lose her sister too because they are so very close. Um, they're
So,
not twins, but they're Irish twins, and
yeah.
they act just like it. And so, of course, I caved, and I was like, "Well, I can't say no to that." And it's been amazing for her. She's mainstreaming, and what's really interesting is that I think my brother Nicholas that was murdered, I really think that he probably did have Asperger's. I know he had. The kindergartner teacher said he had really bad ADHD. It's an odd reason, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure it was difficult. And Um, I don't know, but he reminds me a lot of my daughter. I remember like certain ways he would smile and stuff. And I mean, granted, he was really young when he died, but that's just all I remember. I don't know him as an adult. And he has blonde hair he had blonde hair like my daughter has. And um, so he just reminds me a lot of her.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear about all that. I think I've heard you say before or saw that you said you were a widow with two young girls. I know I've seen that
Yep.
before, right? But I
Yep.
never knew, the history there. Or that, wow, that's
It's not something I like talk about a lot. I didn't really
no,
actually think that you were gonna be like, "Hey, Aries girl on live," but then I was like, "Oh crap, that's my email that I sent you." But
Oh, are you,
yeah.
did I do the wrong thing? You didn't want me to do that?
No,
Oh, is
you're
that,
fine.
oh,
It's
okay,
fine.
sorry.
I wasn't planning on calling in. I just was like, maybe she'll do this and then hopefully someone will show this to them and be like, "Oh my gosh, this is you." And then, people would know and then I don't know, just keep it out there because it was very back then it was a big deal, but now it's not a big deal to them. She only went to prison for 5 years of neglect on my brother. They dropped a lot of charges on both of them because they both plea dealt, and which is insane that they plea dealt all that stuff away. And we're actually working with um, one of the representatives here in Utah to see if they can pass a bill to where people who plea away um, like sexual abuse charges and child abuse charges, if but have committed a murder like of a child, then they would still have to be on like a registry that yes, they did do this, and then it wouldn't be forgotten. So then if they're your neighbor, but there's a lot of red tape around it, like because people get charged with stuff all the time that isn't real, like is worse than it's not as I'm not making sense. It's really late here. Um,
No, I don't make sense a lot of the time either. So no.
but anyways, I just think it would be a really good idea because you don't know who your neighbor is. Like you have no idea of
Right.
knowing
Yeah,
if your
because like
neighbor was a
anybody,
psycho that
yeah.
just beat to death a child. You don't know that. What if they kick a ball, one of those kids kicks a ball into his yard or hits a baseball through their window and then he loses his mind on them and they had no idea. And that's what's scary.
Right. They show sex offenders, right? They
Right.
show, right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's strange, and I'm surprised, like, though, that it doesn't carry anything around with it, like, because he
Nope.
obviously he has his own business, you said, so it's not,
Yep.
he, just, yeah, crazy. And that she's doing Mary Kay now, right? It's like you
Right.
don't picture that kind. Like Mary Kay is usually like I don't know, just a different. I
I
just get a
don't
different
think I
vibe.
wouldn't say I really don't think that she does well with it. I'm not even sure if she's still doing it now.
Yeah,
But
maybe
yeah,
she's on to something else. But yeah, I mean, because they usually have like a big bio, and and then they're usually pretty
right.
professional, and they try to get the pink Cadillac. And okay, just yeah. So she, do you think they're clean now?
No.
No.
For her, no. When I saw no. And then I don't know for um Jim. That's what we knew him as, not James, but Jim. He I don't know. I haven't seen him in years. I'm trying to think of he got out of prison in 2008. Um and I know when he comes up this way, we used to get notified, but then we moved overseas because with my husband's job. Um, he got stationed overseas, and so we were in Okinawa, but and then Guam, and so we kind of don't get updated anymore, which is kind of bullcrap because they should still update us about stuff. But yeah, as far as we know, he still lives in Spanish Fork, and which is like an hour away from me, and it's creepy, but
Are you ever, were you offered anything like, I don't know, if the witness protection or
we were when
when,
we were younger, but now no.
are you ever scared that that he would come after you?
I was when I was like before I had kids, but then we moved overseas and I don't know, I kind of felt safer because we moved overseas within like, oh, I want to say like 6 months after he got out of prison. And then I moved back home with my girls um, when my husband and my brother died, and about like 6 months after. And then, I mean, I have a really good security system now. Um, I
Are
have
you
a
with your
gun, and
parents now?
what
Are you with them now?
with my
With your
kids?
parents?
Oh no, they live about 30 minutes from me. Um, I have a house and I have a good security system. We have dogs, little Yorkies. They are very yappy when they hear something, which is kind of annoying, but it's really reassuring too. And then um, I have a gun, so if I ever needed to use it, I know how to. My husband, he was really good at that stuff and taught me a lot. Um, and then I have a fiance now. So he's around quite a bit, but he's also a fire captain. So he's off on like the every 48-hour shifts and stuff. But we're pretty protected now. I'm not too worried about it. You can't live your life being
Afraid,
scared.
right? Yeah.
I think after I saw my mom and my biological mother in the elevator, I really, at the time, I just really thought I was losing my mind because I was like, no way, this cannot be happening because it was just too. I felt like it was a lifetime movie. It was really crazy, and I was just like, no, this is absolutely not happening. And then I went out and I had like the little baby 1 milligram Ativans just because the anxiety from losing my husband was a lot. And
Right.
then my grandma, and then so it was just I was really struggling with my anxiety and stuff. And so I went out there and took an Ativan, and then uh, I was still hyperventilating because I would have panic attacks. And so then I took another one, and I don't take them anymore. So my anxiety is way better. But um, yeah, I'm just glad that I wasn't having like a psychotic break because I was like, oh my gosh, here it is. Now they're going to name like a syndrome after me because, I went my whole life doing so good. And then now I'm like, oh no, I'm psycho. But no, I didn't have a psychotic break. Um, it was actually really real. So, but after that, and I knew that I could handle that, like seeing her again. I wasn't afraid anymore, which is weird to say, but I wasn't because I faced her and survived it, like, because you always think about, well, I guess you don't know, but you always think about like what you would say to them if you saw them again or what you would ask them. And I always wanted to know why, but I know she'll never be able to give me that why because she doesn't even know why. And who knows if she was even in her right mind at the time when it all happened. Who knows?
Right. Yeah.
I'm
If there.
sure she hasn't been in her right mind for a long time because you can't, as a mother, I did really good until I had kids, and my counselor told me that when I was younger, that when she told me I could stop coming to see her, and we're actually really good family friends with them. She's met both my kids. She's met my husband. We've been to her house actually. It's really cool. So we have a really good relationship with her. and my counselor. And she told me that when I was an adult and had children of my own, that it would be probably harder than it was then because I wouldn't be able to understand how they could do that. And then I'd probably have to see another grief counselor just because it would just be so hard to comprehend. And at the time I was like, nah, maybe, but how could it be harder? But she was so right because once you have kids, and even after having lived through all that, I still can't even fathom how they could do that. And
Right.
it's weird
Yeah.
because for me, my life was so much better when I was adopted because I knew so differently from what my life was before. It was like
Mm-hmm.
180-degree difference, that like night and day, because before I didn't know what holidays were. I didn't have toys. I didn't have blankets. I didn't have like what one pair of clothes. Like I didn't have anything. And I
Mm-hmm.
was left in my room all by myself unless I was getting the crap kicked out of me. And so when I went to a new home and had, an abundance of things, and I had my adopted parents weren't rich, but they were like like I don't know, like the
Middle
medium.
class. Yeah.
Yeah. So it like my mom was a teacher for 33 years and my dad worked in the federal building, and they're both retired now, but they had both had good jobs, and we didn't
Were you
really.
their only kids? I mean, did they have other kids, or you guys?
My dad, he has two stepdaughters from a previous marriage, and when my mom and him met, they actually met the year I was born, and then they were married like, oh, I think they were married a few months after I was. No, they met a few months before I was born. Anyways, and in Utah, you get married like pretty quickly after you meet someone because it's Utah, and LDS, you can't do anything before you're married. And then by the time you want to get married, you want to do things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the way of life here. And so they got married pretty quickly, but they're about like 10, 11 years older than me. Um, and both of them live in California. Both of them have kids and stuff. Um,
Oh,
I get along with them pretty good.
stepsisters.
What?
You mean the
Yeah.
stepsisters? Okay.
Yep. And then it was just me, my two little brothers, and um, it's amazing for me to look back on now and see how they adopted all three of us because that's kind of unheard of, and it's in a miracle of itself. Um, and we did better than I want to say than my older brother and sister. I mean, they don't have really bad problems. My sister kind of does have a meth addiction. She's supposedly clean now, but who knows? She's had issues with that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully she doesn't hear this and come back and like hate me for saying that. I don't ever think she would listen to something like this, but oh well. And then my older brother, I don't really think he does anything, but he does talk to my biological mom. He is friends with her on Facebook. Um,
How did she
we kind of,
find you guys on Facebook? Did
well, he kind of found her, and he kind of has a relationship with her still, which I don't understand. And after he allowed my biological mom to come see my brother, um, and be at the hospital and everything. After that happened, we kind of had a falling out because I was like, "How could you? You couldn't even tell us." Like, it was really messed up.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could understand kind of where he was coming from as being a mother myself, but I would have never done that stuff to my kids. And so I wouldn't ever be in that position. And I think she gave up those rights when her rights were terminated. And she doesn't have those rights. And so that's not his mom. He didn't know her. And I don't know, it just really disturbed me that my brother would have never, because they didn't find out until they were 18, which I don't agree with, but they didn't know what had happened. So my whole childhood growing up, I couldn't really talk about it that much with my brothers. because like they knew something happened, but I wasn't allowed to talk to him about it because they didn't want it to be, I don't know, my parents didn't know how to go about it. And I don't really agree with that because I felt like,
Your adopted parents didn't want you to talk
right,
to them.
right. But it was also very, very hush hush because we couldn't really talk about it because for safety reasons, and they didn't want us just telling anybody and everybody, which I kind of guess I am doing now, but it's not really a safety thing now.
Right.
Um,
But they knew you
I
were
don't know
adopted.
what.
But they said you were adopted. It was just they didn't want the
Right. They knew they were
circumstances.
adopted. They just didn't know
The
that their
circumstances.
biological dad was a murderer and had murdered their brother.
Right.
And they didn't know all of that. Um, and so they didn't find out until they were 18. And both of them did experiment a little with drugs after that because, I mean, I think that would be anything to, I think any person would hear that and be like, whoa, and kind of have like a midlife crisis, even though it's not midlife. But I wouldn't take it very well either if I, to find out. I recently found out uh, this last summer who my real dad is, and he's actually the guy that is in that article as well, where it was like her previous boyfriend, and he was actually down in prison in Arizona at the time for child abuse charges on me, and so I don't talk to him. The only way I know is because she finally gave me a name after like I want to say what, because it was 27 years this November. And so like after 26 and a half years, she finally told me who my dad was. But then she said, but I'm not sure. And so, and apparently they had tried contacting her before, earlier, like last year or something, because his dad had died, and they wanted to know more information or whatever. And she told them, no, I'm not going to tell you where she's at. I'm not going to tell you anything. But I found out because I did an ancestry DNA, and that's some crazy stuff to go on ancestry DNA, just because I really just wanted to know like what my heritage was, where, anything and everything, and that I could know, like health wise and stuff. And I found out that yes, like I saw first, I had like his sister was on there, and sure enough, like the last name matched, so I knew exactly who it was. And it was like the one thing she never lied about, which is insane because she lied about everything else. But I've never talked to him, and now that I know who it is, I don't think I want to talk to him just because I feel like if he was um, in prison for abuse charges on me, do I really want to know that person? Probably not. I think if you can abuse a child, I don't really think that you can change after that.
So I
And
missed that.
I don't.
He's in prison on abuse charges for you.
He was at the time in that article. That's what I said. But he's not now. He's out. He lives in Iowa. Um, and um, his mom just died actually on um, the day before Thanksgiving. And I had a cousin that messaged me, like a second cousin. So it would be his mom's sister, his daughter, that messaged me on Ancestry and said, hey, just so you know, your grandma just died, which is really weird. And I got the message and I was like, what? But apparently I learned that he has two daughters as well, and they're in their 20s. And that kind of makes me want to just see, like who they are, just because I have two siblings out there. But at the same time, I don't want to open that up because apparently he's really white trashy too. And I don't really want to associate with that just because my life is really good and I don't have any desire to bring any negative energy
Influences,
into my
yeah.
life. So, yeah.
And so, okay. So this was actually, you said, the third man your mother, your biological mother, was having children with, right? This Jim guy.
Right.
Okay, but you said that they were Latter-day Saints.
Oh, no, that's my adoptive parents.
Oh, your adopted parent. Okay, because I was going to say, all right, that's it. I was trying to figure where that was in. Okay, no, I get that.
No, they did not go to church at all.
Okay, all right, that's where I thought
Um,
I had that mistaken. Okay, um, so then when your bio mother had the baby, they just brought the baby right from to your adopted
she
mother.
had the baby and he was addicted to all kinds of drugs, and he actually had to spend 6.5 weeks in the NICU down at Primary Children's Hospital.
Oh wow.
Because he was really bad. He was really bad in the beginning. He almost didn't make it, and then they had to like wean him off stuff, and then yeah.
He wasn't.
So
So she must have been very far along when she was arrested.
right, he was born in March, so only a couple of months after she was arrested.
And she still had all that, okay,
Mm-hmm.
in her system. And so, wow. So then was your mom going down to that hospital to see the baby, or they just brought the baby up after six and
They
a half?
took the baby from her like right after he was born because her parental rights got revoked, and she was obviously unfit, and she was in jail at the time. So they
No,
said no.
I mean your mom, your
Oh
adoptive
yeah,
mom. Was she going
they
to
went
the?
down to the hospital all the time. They found out they got him like right after he was born, like right after he got released from the hospital. He came straight home to us. Um, and my brother and me, my little brother, the one that was 1 years old, he was with me in another foster home, maybe for like a couple of weeks, and then we got placed with my adoptive parents. But I know they were foster parents for a while before the adoption became final, but they applied for it pretty quickly. So yeah, I know that both Debbie and Jim, they both fought for not to lose custody, but basically the judge laughed in their face and said, you gotta be kidding me. So, but they tried to fight it for a little bit, and they didn't get it, obviously. Yeah.
And has he tried to contact your youngest
Not
brother?
that I know of, no.
No.
And
Wow.
I asked her back because she texted me for a little bit after when I texted her, "Don't you dare show up at the funeral," or whatever. So I had to keep my promise to her, which is stupid that I even told her that. But really, I just wanted to support my adopted mom because, she raised us. She is our mom. And
Yeah.
my biological mom was just, a surrogate for us, basically. We have no attachments to her. And I wanted to protect her from that. She was already, and I mean, this happened right before Mother's Day. My little brother died the day before Mother's Day. And so it was really, really hard. And so I had to talk to her. Like, she texted me a few times before the funeral, which was like a week later. And I had asked her if she still talks to Jim, and she said no. She will. I guess he's tried to contact her a few times, and she doesn't talk to him anymore because she was remarried. But they never actually got married, so it's just weird for her to say, "Well, I'm remarried now," and I was like, "But you're not." And then she just got divorced like a year ago. And he still lives in St. George, but she lives in Missouri with her sister.
Okay. And you don't, and
And what's really crazy is she's around so many kids and they all just support her and act like it's no big deal, which I don't understand at
Because they're
all.
probably living a false reality. Okay, they probably said whatever, that didn't
Right?
happen, or what, it's
Well,
they're not.
supposedly she says she found God in prison because they all say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe it because she's still lying. So if she really found God in prison, she would be able to tell the truth, and she can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's lied to me in text, and like I could show you the text, and it's just she doesn't she doesn't believe that she did anything wrong, which is scary because who knows what she's capable of.
So now, did
If
she
she
acknowledge sitting there while he was being beaten to death, or she doesn't?
she has acknowledged being there to me,
Mm-hmm.
but she hasn't acknowledged it to anyone else. Because the reason why she didn't get charged with it is because they couldn't prove that she was actually at the house when it happened. And his body was so badly decomposed
Mm-hmm.
that they couldn't find a cause of death. They couldn't pin it on anything. And so they couldn't also, there wasn't really evidence to prove it's not like back then, they didn't have video cameras on doorbells and all of that where they could prove without a shadow of a doubt that she was in the home.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she was at work and that she had forgot to clock in that day. And I don't, I don't know how she got out of it, but she did. And she got out of everything else too. There was never any abuse charges that happened for me or my older siblings. She didn't get charged with all the drugs they found in the house. She didn't get charged for lying. She didn't get charged for tampering with a dead body. She didn't get charged with any of that. And it's just insane to me.
That's weird. Yeah. And did you have any bruises or anything on you when they took you out of the house?
Yes. I had a lot of problems, like, medically.
And you were
They took
28
me
pounds or something, you said, right? So,
yeah,
yeah.
my hair they had to cut my hair really, really short because they broke 3 brushes at the hospital trying to brush out my hair. Um, and so they just decided to cut it all off basically because they couldn't brush through it. Um, and when I was at the hospital, they had like left the door a little cracked open, and one of the police officers was talking with another doctor. And I remember overhearing him say, like, them talking about how tragic everything was and how I would never come back from this. And then he came in and he, like, the way they looked at me with like such pity and sorrow in their eyes. I never wanted people to look at me like that. And I never wanted to be pitied or have people feel bad for me. And so I totally took that and like hit the ground running and never you because I never wanted to be like a statistic. I never wanted to be looked at as a victim. I always wanted to be looked at as a survivor because I survived and I didn't want my little brother
Right.
to see that. And I didn't want my brother that died for me, I didn't ever want him to feel like, I don't know, as a kid, you don't want to disappoint them and
Right.
have him, I don't know, I was always worried that he would feel bad. Like I never did
Right. You wanted
really,
to honor him.
I never
Yeah,
really
yeah.
messed up or did anything because I didn't ever want
Mm-hmm.
to have him feel bad or sad that, I was making bad choices or something. And
Right.
I
You
always
wanted
wanted
to
him
honor him.
to be proud of me
Mm-hmm.
and be proud that he died for me because
Yeah.
I always had that survivor's guilt from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know, I think that's one reason why I was able to do so well.
Mm-hmm.
My older siblings, they didn't really have that view, and it's definitely been more of a struggle for them. And they had different problems than me, so I
Yeah,
can
they
totally
definitely sounds
understand
like
why they would have different
right,
issues.
the sexual
Yeah,
abuse. I mean, just the
right.
sexual stuff that was like really probably
And
really messed with
honestly, I
them.
would rather be physically abused any day than sexually abused.
Yeah, right.
So, I
It sounds like, I mean, just the stuff you said on the lawn. I mean, it really missed
right.
probably,
It's
yeah,
horrible.
yeah. It's just crazy. So yeah, no, you definitely are a survivor, and thanks for telling your story, and I will look into it more. And wow, that's just horrific, and it's a great thing that your parents, that who adopted you, were able to take you guys in and show you a good life.
It can be a good thing. Like it can work out in the end. That's
Mm-hmm.
one reason why I wanted to say something, but also just, on the off chance that someone was like their neighbor or something and was like, "Hey, this is you." And then, they couldn't get away with it because I feel like they definitely got away with it. At least she did. And I don't know, I just wanted to bring I really didn't think you would be like, "Oh, hey, Aries girl," but oops. Oh well, it's fine.
Oh, okay. I hope I didn't get you
No,
upset
you're
or anything.
fine.
Okay. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, I think a lot of people will look into it. I can post the link for the article so they can all take a look at that. And, but thanks for telling your story here and wish you the best. I'm sorry about your husband. Sorry about your brother
Thank
is,
you.
and yeah, just you're doing good, and happy New Year to you, and I hope that it's your best one ever. So
Thank
so
you.
far,
That's
I hope
really
they
sweet
keep
of
getting
you.
better. So your best one yet. Um, but yeah, just that's pretty hard. It's hard to take in. I mean, and you lived it, so yeah, it's just
It's hard for me to just even say that for me, it's like looking at someone else's life because it's not my life now.
mm-hmm,
And it was so different that I don't look at it as myself. Like I don't associate myself with that. Like it happened to me and I can remember everything clear as day.
mm-hmm,
And I wish I didn't. But I also have such a good life now that I can't be sad about it because like I just can't. I have so much to be grateful for.
right, right.
So, yeah.
Okay, all right. So well,
Thank you
thanks.
for saying something though. I really appreciate
Oh,
it.
you're welcome. I'm going to put the link in the chat so as people can check it out, and then yeah, send me anything else you have, and I'll take a look at it. But yeah, I'm glad that you got out of there. I'm sorry that your brother was not so lucky, but I'm sure he's looking down on you, and you'll see him again one
I
day,
have
and your
one
husband.
picture
Mm-hmm.
of him and me and my two older siblings. Um it's the only picture of my childhood that I have. Um
Mm-hmm.
before I was 5.5. I don't have any other pictures of that. But I'll send that to you too
Oh, sure.
if you
Okay.
want.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, yeah, just thanks for telling that. Thanks for sharing that. And again, sorry for everything you've gone through. And I hope that you guys have
Thanks,
a
and sorry I
very happy
couldn't
New
see the
Year.
chat.
Oh,
I
yeah,
couldn't see the
you can
chat, so
read
I
it
have
later.
no
There's a
idea.
lot of support in there. So take a look at when
I
you get
appreciate
out
you
of here.
letting me come on and say something, though. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for telling your story. And like I said, I'll put the link in the chat for everyone. And yeah, just send me anything else that you have. I'll take a look at
You're
it.
the only one I've ever trusted to talk about it with. Like, I never really saw myself doing this, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I talked about it. If anybody, I'm glad it was you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm glad you felt that way. So, thanks.
Have a good night.
You too. You too.
Bye.
Bye bye. Okay, I'll put the link to the article if you'd like to read more about it. Okay. That's the rest of that. And thank you for your sharing. It takes courage to share. You grew up in the worst possible in the Philippines. Oh, wow. Really, Animal Lover? Sorry to hear that. Hey, Potter. Um, I'm trying to see what happened here. What happened? Something happened to Janelle? Who said something happened to Janelle? Kathy? I don't know who Janelle. Okay, I don't know what happened to Janelle. Now there's another story that Carol Boyce sent in about there was a missing woman found in where was it? Hang on. Let me see. What I think? Hang on. Did I see it? Oh, I think I put it here again. Yeah. Okay, so let's put this up here. The body of the missing Southfield woman, Adrienne Quintal, was found in northern Michigan. Let's see. So that was December 22nd. There was a 47-year-old woman who, hold on, I'm trying to put a picture here for you. Oops, a little, hang on. Okay, so 47-year-old Adrienne Quintal, the search for her has ended in heartbreak. The family called authorities in Benzie County about 1:30 p.m. Saturday to report finding the body of the Southfield mom in a flooded area on the family's property near Honor. The undersheriff Kyle Rosa and a medical examiner recovered the body. An autopsy was planned to identify the body and determine the cause of death. The body was found Saturday in 3 feet of water in an area where searchers had looked for her before. Today we found her, said an update posted Saturday night on the Adrienne Quintal Missing in Northern Michigan Facebook page. We are heartbroken as the search did not have a positive ending. There are too many people to thank. In this post, know I am truly grateful for the thoughts and prayers during this journey. Please turn on your lights tomorrow in remembrance of Ada, the post said. So, let's see. She went by the name of Ada. She had an adult son, and she disappeared from the cabin in Honor about 20 miles southwest of Traverse City on October 17th. Authorities said she made a frantic phone call to a friend in Warren at 2:34 a.m. saying she was in danger, and 2 men were reportedly outside the cabin. She said she had shot one of them, and they were shooting back. She told her friend to call the police. The friend called the sheriff's office, and authorities arrived 13 minutes later after some confusion over the cabin's address. But Quintal was gone. They found multiple bullet holes in a window and searched for an injured person or evidence of an injured person. They forced entry into the cabin but found no one inside other than the family dog, who was unharmed. They found no blood or evidence of someone who had been hurt in or around the cabin, but they found evidence suggesting multiple shots were fired inside the cabin to the outside. Quintal's 9mm handgun was found on the ground and her boots and cell phone on the roof. The car she was using was parked nearby. Police and her family have speculated she might have suffered from some type of medical issue. Her sister told the Free Press that Quintal had suffered a head injury several months earlier. Weeks of exhaustive searches with law enforcement, and cadaver dogs followed. So I guess it kind of sounds like she was having some kind maybe of a hallucination or something, that she thought she saw them, because since there was no blood or anything, and then had wandered off and drowned, and I don't know how they didn't find her the first time. But sad story. And let's see here. Yeah. And I think let's see. Yeah, no sign of there was no sign of foul play. And then there was someone else that there was what is this one now? Wow. Missing Whitmore Legman. Who is this? Okay. I think I just want to see one other thing. Hold on one second. Just trying to pull up something else. What was this? What the heck is this? Okay, this is a really, hang on. This is a really weird story. I just have to get this picture up because you have to see this picture. This is crazy. Okay, apparently, let me just get this. I mean, maybe some of you saw this. This was a Christmas present gone wrong. Hold on. Okay, some of you would say, yes, it's a Christmas present gone wrong because it's a doll. But Elizabeth Fadley shared her story on a Facebook 2015 Christmas gift for her daughter gone terribly wrong. So it involves a creepy mermaid baby doll and a busted drug operation. Elizabeth of New York, okay, said this all took place back in 2015 when her daughter Ellie wanted a mer baby for Christmas. Not just a mermaid and not just a baby, a mermaid baby, Fadley explained, adding that she dreamed of naming her Pearl. While Fadley was happy to have finally found a mermaid baby doll on Etsy, Ellie found the doll to be disgusting, and in a video of the moment she opened the gift, she jumps back from the toy and shakes her head. Fadley said that she was devastated by her failure and more determined than ever to remedy it, even going so far as to purchase hair dye in an attempt to make the doll prettier by dyeing its hair from green to blonde. Fadley said that she discovered a doll in Teddy Bear Hospital in New Jersey, and she sent the doll to get fixed. I packed Pearl up in a box and addressed it to the doll hospital. I tell Ellie that Pearl is going off to the hospital to have her face and hair adjusted. Ellie wisely informs me that Pearl has even greater problems than those. Then she proceeds, right on the box, please, please help this doll. She has so many problems. While Fadley was waiting for Pearl's glow up to be completed, she received a surprising phone call from a detective with the Secaucus Police Department, who told her that when the doll hospital removed Pearl's head to repaint her offensive skin, they found 2 ounces of cocaine stuffed in her head. In what is probably the strangest conversation of my life, the detective asked me what's up with Pearl. Did a weird uncle put drugs in Pearl's head 30 years ago and then I inherited Pearl? I explained what Ellie wanted for Christmas, how I found Pearl on Etsy, and why I shipped her off to the doll hospital. The detective then said, "You spent money on this doll? Have you ever heard of Ariel? She is a pretty mermaid. You can buy her at any Disney store." Fadley said that the detectives investigated herself and her family, ruling them out as suspects, and instead focused their efforts on a sting on the doll maker in Alabama. Ultimately, Pearl had to be kept by the investigators to be used as evidence in an international drug trial. Everything we do for our children, we try to get them the best Christmas gifts and accidentally buy a merbaby stuffed with cocaine and become embroiled in an international drug smuggling ring. I hope all your holidays or Christmases are, oh my gosh. And if cocaine accidentally shows up under your tree, know that I understand and that you tried your best. Okay, so that's a crazy story. I look at that doll and I think I recognize that face. Oh my gosh, that is just crazy. And then there was another, did you guys hear this one? Pregnant Texas woman was killed on Christmas by the baby's father, who then shot himself. Did we go over this one? 33 weeks pregnant she was, Gabriela Rodriguez. Why does this sound so familiar? I don't know. I feel like I'm having major deja vu all day today. We did do this, right? While her 2 small children, 2 and 6, were present. Why does that sound so familiar? I'm really scaring myself just a little bit here. With her children just feet away, a pregnant mother of 2 was killed on Christmas Day, allegedly by her ex-boyfriend, who then shot himself. Gabriela Rodriguez, 24, and her unborn child were both killed when the father of her children allegedly shot her inside his San Antonio home. Rodriguez was 33 weeks pregnant. Police said she was murdered while her small children, ages 2 and 6, were present. Well, maybe this sounds like that other one that killed them when the kids were 4 and I don't know. There's so many lately. It's just melding. Rodriguez's new boyfriend was with her, and the couple were dropping off her children with their father. The boyfriend called police after hearing the fatal gunfire inside the home. After he allegedly killed his ex-girlfriend, the man, who has not been publicly identified, turned the gun on himself. He is said to be in critical condition as he receives treatment at the university hospital. Police have not publicly discussed a motive for the shooting. The alleged shooter does have a criminal history, according to police, but none of his prior offenses involved violence. Wow. Okay. I don't know why I feel like we talked about that one, but maybe not. Okay. We talked about that in a chat, did we? I don't know. I feel like crazy, weird. feel like we did. I feel like we didn't. I feel like it was the one last night. I feel like we did. I feel like, why shouldn't I know this? Why are the days melding into each other? I'm getting really scared. I'm seriously getting really scared. I think she was in. What did I miss? I think she has a lot on her plate and may be tired, a little sensitive. What happened? Carol, what happened? Who misinterpreted something? Who's upset? I don't know. What's going on? What is going on? I'm trying to follow this along. Who said? I said annoying alarm clock? I didn't say annoying alarm clock, didn't I say? I said she's very good at like that. Did I say annoying alarm clock? Or somebody said annoying alarm clock and I read it. I don't know which we're talking about. I'm so confused. Janelle feels like she's annoying? Okay, I know I missed this. Janelle thought someone called her annoying and she left. Janelle misunderstood what you said. She was like an alarm clock. Janelle is so not annoying in any way. Read Janelle's comment. She is fine, just tired. Okay. Did I say annoying alarm clock? Something you wanted to remember. Right, the thing that Bella Mack said. And she's good at remembering. She will keep reminding us. Did I say annoying alarm clock? I don't think I said annoying alarm. She will remind us like an alarm clock. Please acknowledge Harley. Who's Harley? I just talked to her. She is okay. You feel like you're not real, Lisa? I don't think I said annoying. I think that I'd like to go back and listen to that, replay the videotape, because I don't think I said annoying. And if I said annoying, I could have read something. I don't think I would say annoying. I said she's really good at reminding. Yes, she said annoying alarm clock. Who's she? I said annoying alarm clock? You said annoying. I said annoying, but it wasn't meant towards her. It was meant as annoying. The clock is annoying. Yes, you did, but okay. I don't know. I don't think I would say she's like an annoying alarm clock. I don't think I would say that. Carol's saying yes, I said that. I think that's, didn't say Janelle is annoying. She said we need one of those annoying alarm clocks to remind us. We should ask Janelle because she's good at reminding and remembering for us. Okay, so it wasn't said we should ask Janelle. Janelle's like an annoying alarm clock. You feel like this is too unreal? This is the 12. If I even told you like what is going through my mind that I saw, that I can't like get, I cannot still rationalize it, because I saw something that has indeed repeated itself 100% a few months later, and screenshots look exactly the same, and I thought one was from the other time, and it's from I can't even explain it to you, but it's going on in my head. Okay? And I feel like either it's like Groundhog Day or something in screenshots. Like, I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it. And then I'm questioning, like, the one thing, like, was that then? Was it there? I've got to go find the other one, because, like, if I don't find the other one, then it didn't happen. Like, it's just crazy. It's driving me nuts. You can't even understand. And then I can't remember things anymore. Like, it's bizarre. I'd be horrible if they said, like, what did you do last Thursday? I can't even remember freaking last Thursday. And now all these crimes, they're all melding into one another. Like, I'll read that one and I'm like, well, we've read that, but then we haven't, because something's, then it's like, no, it's of the 2 children that we read last night, where, now see, I can't even remember the one we read last night, but I just did a minute ago. The one last night was, oh my gosh, oh yes, the Stephen Grant guy who murdered his wife in front of his 2 children and dragged her downstairs. So I'm like, no, that isn't the same one. We're all on some other, I don't know, like, everything just keeps, like, it's crazy. It's like Groundhog, it is. We've officially entered the Twilight Zone. I don't know what we've entered, but I just feel like everything is replaying Tara Grant. But man, I saw something tonight and I said that was from this time, and I looked and it wasn't, and then I really freaked out, and I'm still freaked out. And I can't even describe it, because you think I'm crazy. I don't know where. Everything is melding. Let me tell you. Everything is melding into one another. I have too much on my plate. Or, there's none of that, so I must just have too much on my plate. Harley, Justice, I don't know who Harley is. I'm sorry, I don't know who they are. If you want to send me a link to my email or something, go on ahead, but I can't listen to any other videos while I'm online. So if it's a video, then I'll have to listen to it later, but you can send a link to my email. Yeah, Kristen, something, and yeah, I have a lot of things going on, so yeah. Friend that's pretty sick, and Jeff, and just, oh my gosh, my head is, I don't even know where I'm coming or going. You understand completely, Lisa? On your best days. We never got through the Seavers text, then boom. Yeah, I know, we have to finish that, but it just, oh my gosh, and when is he going to court? Oh, you're welcome, AriesGirl. The Twilight Zone. When is Mark going back to court? On the 9th? Isn't he going back on the 9th, or is he going back on the 2nd? I don't know when he's going back to court. I know that Megan is going to court on the 2nd. You have talked to your therapist about the feelings? 2020 is going to be amazing. See, and Kristen, I still can't remember what we were talking about, and I remember saying, is Kristen still here? Because you sent me, and I still can't remember what it was. I'm really scaring myself. Too many things happening all at once, not just you. You're feeling the same, Stephanie? Okay. You think it's the 9th? It's all good. We've had a lot of conversations. I get confused who you were talking to. Yeah. And then while things are going in my mind, like I see Aries and I remember Aries' name and I remember it in another chat or this chat or some chat where she was saying that she lost her husband and she had 2 children and I was like, as she was talking, my mind was seeing that and I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's you, but I didn't know all this other stuff happened. And then my mind is still going back. That's how my mind works. It's still going back to like, where, when, was it in this chat? Was it another chat? Was it, where did I see it? Did I see it? Like, my mind goes crazy on stupid details that it shouldn't have to. Just like it stupidly, like, why can't my mind just say, look, okay, so you, maybe that happened then, this happened then, you saw, whatever, forget it. But it can't. My mind obsesses until I go and find the details and fill them in. Something to do with 333? Oh, it's, see, we didn't have Janelle here and we missed 333? And I was looking at 333. I thought we had it. No wonder. See, Janelle? You're needed here. I don't know why Janelle thinks she's annoying. Janelle, I never said you're annoying. I don't think you're annoying at all, Janelle. We need you here with the 333, all the reminders. I told you that the other day, Janelle. Didn't I tell you that I needed that reminder? Hey, Julie. Probably a crazy moon. I don't know. Oh my goodness. We told her we want her. I missed all that and that was going on. 3. And another thing, the cricket people, did you go see my post in the cricket group? I was seeing I was supposed to put another post in the cricket group. Did you see my post in the cricket group about doing a live cricket with like some projects that we all pick and we all do together live for the first time, all of us crickets? You think we've all gone nuts? Probably. Went back and you said like an annoying alarm clock. I said what, Carolyn? I said Janelle is an annoying alarm clock? I'm so confused. If you're in the cricket group, the one that has the die cutter. I don't know, Cami, if it is. I don't think I would say something like that's not in my nature to say something like that to her because that's not how I think of her. I think it was taken at it wasn't said that way and someone's reading into that it was said that way. Okay. I'll have to listen. I don't know how. Yeah, Jennifer James, sure. Let's I'll send you something and you can explain about this because I totally missed this. I don't know what I said. Okay, Merlin, I got your email now, so you finally sent it. Okay. I'm just sending it back to responding to one of your emails there. Okay. And then I have something from Brooke, which is a picture. Okay. So let's see. Nicholas is the blonde in the middle. Okay, so this is poor little Nicholas right here. And this is you? No, I'm lost here because you had two older wait, is this you down here? No, wait a minute. Is this you here? Which one is you? Oh, I have to go back to the chat. Where's AriesGirl? Which one is you? Which one? The one in this one, the older one, or the younger one? The younger one, because he was a little older than you, right? So you're over here. You're 5 years old? Oh, this is not then. Okay, this is from before. Okay. All right, so you're here. Kathy says, my family keeps getting spooked out because I'm asking about things they were just thinking of, or just bought, or just mentioned. Yeah, I can have that happen too, Kathy. It's crazy. Okay. So, oh yeah, you were all very cute there. Poor little Nicholas. May rest in peace. Okay, so. It's the only picture you have? Oh. Can't keep up, so much going on. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. I mean, I don't know what, it's a lot going on. You think your daughter-in-law, you told my daughter-in-law my husband was coming through the door when I would have no idea he was there. Hi.
Hey.
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 It's Jennifer Jane.
So what's going on?
Janelle is just plumb tuckered out,
She stayed up all
and
night. She stayed up all night.
yeah, she's been up. She's been up
Yeah.
probably 24 hours straight,
Mhm.
and I think she's just tired and she needs some rest. I texted her just a second ago, and she said, "Could you post that?" Because I mentioned about Eric putting up this tribute for Jeff, and she asked me, "Could you go ahead and do it? I'm going to bed." And I'm like, "Sure, babe. Kiss, kiss." And so she's just exhausted. And you know how we all are when we're exhausted. We kind of, take things maybe a little more seriously than we should or than we would in a normal circumstance.
Mhm.
But I just spoke with her. She's just exhausted. She has been working tirelessly on that pineapple jello page, and we've been going back and forth for, however many days now it is. I can't even remember. Days all run together when you're up so long. But she's okay.
Okay.
And
But I
will
still
make
don't know
sure
what
that
I
she
said.
knows we all love her.
Right. Yeah. But what exactly did I say?
Oh, good God, who knows?
Okay. Because I didn't call her annoying. I know that I wouldn't have done that.
Of course, you wouldn't have intended anything like that, and that's just it. She does not think that you meant anything. I can't imagine anybody on this planet would think you ever mean anything wrong.
Mhm.
So I don't want you to stress or worry about it. Everybody's stressed and worried about it.
All I remember is saying that Bella Mac wanted to know, poor Bella Mac's like, oh, she's going to, if you never made me mention that thing, Bella. No, but yeah, now Bella's going to say, she made fun of me. No. But I said, we need someone, Bella said, we need a reminder every Friday or whatever day we decide. And I'm terrible at that, remembering things. So we need someone who's really good, like Janelle. And what I said is somebody that's really good at remembering things, because Janelle remembers things. And I do not remember saying an annoying alarm clock. I really don't remember that.
I think it was more like you either read what somebody typed.
That's what it sounds more like. Oh, like an annoying alarm clock, or we need an alarm clock like an annoying. I don't know. I have to go back and listen.
Of course.
It doesn't sound like.
And nobody that knows you and nobody that knows this community and has watched and has, followed along and been there time and time again and in and out, day and day, would ever believe that any of us really mean anything, bad at each other.
I'm laughing at Bella's
support
comment.
Group.
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at it. She says, wow, this thing has
support
legs.
Group, Come on, we all know that. We joke, we kid, we make fun, we pick at each other at times, but all in good jest.
Right. Who was the one that didn't get the sarcasm? Who was the one that didn't get the sarcasm? Was it Tico at first, and he said he didn't understand, and then he finally understood it, like why I
That's
said
how we deal.
How come you're always picking on? I'm not picking on you. If I didn't like you, Tika, I wouldn't even call you out or something, right? Something like that. And I was teasing him. And then he got to know. Then he once he knew it, he was fine. But I don't know. Like maybe some
we have
people aren't used
weird
to it.
senses of humor in this community.
Yeah.
But none of us mean any harm.
I called Carolyn A says I called the alarm clock annoying. Period.
Well, I would just want to say, on behalf of Jeff, Gail, go to bed, Gail.
Gail,
Leave us alone, Gail.
Good night, Gail. Oh my goodness, that's so crazy. Mommy Chickadee.
I miss that so much.
Yeah.
I really miss him, and his sense of humor, and
right, yeah.
I think he is just tickled pink that we all think this much of him. I bet he never would have imagined that we all felt so deeply for him and still feel so deeply for him and his, sense of justice and just doing the right thing no matter how many people hate you for it, which he took a lot. A lot of garbage.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
He had your back. He had your back 110%. Right. And I really admired him for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So did I. Yeah, I came out and I thanked him. He surprised me because you remember he used to be kind of got married because he couldn't say no to the woman, but then he went out there and he got very, very assertive in the last few weeks, right? Very assertive.
He gave me such great advice with my soon-to-be ex, and I didn't take it. But he's like, clean everything out, and I didn't.
Yeah,
but he was trying
changed.
to
He
walk
got very
me
assertive. I think he had enough of being pushed around, and then he got very assertive. And I was shocked like crazy when he got on there, because that wasn't how he, so it was very nice of him to do that, and I thank him very much for that. That was incredible. Yeah, that I just said, like, where did Jeff grow this backbone? But he did, apparently, somewhere,
He was very chivalrous and just really like a white knight coming in to save the day when all that was going down for you.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it just made us love him all the more.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, that was just I was blown away, because I'm like, hey, this is the same guy that got married because he couldn't say no.
I know.
Because I used to tease him so bad about that. See, Janelle?
I know.
Yeah, but no, I used to tease him all the time. Like, how does that happen? How do you do that?
Because he didn't paint all women with the same brush, which that's really hard, probably for a lot of guys. You get burned, and you just hate women, and you just think, they're all the same. But, we all know better.
Yeah. Yep. And so,
by the content of your character and not by your gender.
So, what's going on with you? You okay?
Insanity. But guess what?
What?
I'm alive, and I'm thriving, even though I don't have hardly any money. My son, I did crack and call my son out in Arizona and say, look, it's killing me to make this call, and it's killing me to say these words, but there may come a day down the road here very soon that I might need some financial help. And he said, what do you need? Whatever you need. You just, we'll wire it. No problem.
Well, that's good.
Don't have to say one more word, Mom.
Yeah, so, and you have, you got into your new place?
I'm in like a one-room, they call it a studio, which sounds very glamorous, but it's not. Sounds very glamorous, like very, what is it, a Holly Golightly from that movie, Breakfast at Tiffany's, right?
Yeah, studio.
Yeah, it's anything but that. But I'm safe. He doesn't know where I'm at. He's tried very hard to find out where I'm at, but he doesn't know. And
you got to take your dog?
I've got Peggy.
That's
Peggy
good.
And her sock monkey, which she loves on tremendously. And just working every shift I can pick up, and just, just doing what I got to do. But it was really hard to call Jesse, and it was really hard to ask for his assistance. But he knows. He lived in that house. He knew.
Right. Yeah. Well,
his dad's had him by the throat up against the sink before as a teenager, because Jesse said, I can't do X, Y, or Z right now. And I grabbed the phone and I said, you touch that boy one more time and you're going to prison. So, but, it just took me forever to figure out what was wrong with Jeff. And I hate to call random guy Jeff. I call him RJ, because he doesn't deserve, my husband doesn't deserve to have the same name as random guy Jeff. But it took me a long time to figure out he's just a narcissistic, sociopathic kind of a person. I just always wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to, just plug away and hope that someday he would change, and someday he would realize what he had and not be so hateful and miserable and spiteful and nasty, but it's just not possible. And he's just turning more and more, turning out to be more and more like his parents. The older he gets, and you know, he's 11 years older than me, and screaming at me for no reason. And I think I served my purpose. You know, I got his parents dealt with. His dad finally died, and one of the last things he said to me was, "Your best isn't good enough, and it never will be." As I was changing his diaper.
Eric, she doesn't have any custody battles to worry about. Eric said, Jennifer, don't say anything else because this can be used against you in a custody battle.
Nope. Thanks, Eric. Nope. Jesse's 28, and Jackson is, of course, in heaven. So, but yeah, no. It's just, you know, we a lot of people, especially at work, are like, "How are you still standing?" I'm like, I really can't tell you. But the worst thing that could ever happen to me has already happened. You have a child die in your arms tragically as you're trying to give them CPR.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the worst thing that could happen. So anything after that is kind of like, eh.
Yeah, you'll make it. I mean, you're there.
Of course.
You've got your job. You've got a house. You got your dog.
It's just annoying. It's just annoying, and it's just heartbreaking in the sense that, you know, you think you knew a person, but you didn't.
Right.
It was all a sham. It was all an act. But you know, he's got what he wanted. He has his airplanes. He has his airplane hangar. He has both houses. He has his trucks. He has his Dodge Challenger, 74 Dodge Challenger. He has all his stuff, so he should be quite happy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just stay safe. Better days lie ahead, and you know, yeah, I think you'll see that. So you know, it's not easy no matter what, but yeah, better days lie ahead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
But yeah, y'all just don't be stressing too much about Janelle. I mean, we have been back and forth trying to get this Pineapple Jello page up and get as many tributes and things on there for Jeff. And she and I have had a lot of back and forths about it. And I think she's just, you know, everything going on with her poor husband and trying to probably do more than she should have to feel like she has to do.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that's kind of how we are in this community here. We take probably on too much at once. But she's going to be okay. And I just don't think it's anything for everybody else to get too upset about.
Right. Yeah. I hope not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she, you know, when she wakes up, she'll go back and listen. And I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think she has her feelings hurt by you at all. I think she's just a little overstressed. And if she,
Eric wants me to ask you about your elephants.
I tease him that I'm transitioning because too many people suck.
Oh, yeah?
I want to become an elephant.
Oh, okay.
Like Dumbo. I was
like Dumbo and fly away with your big ears? Yeah?
Yes. I love
with
that.
With a little mouse on your trunk?
Or
on your hat?
He was different. He was different, but he was special, and his mommy loved him so much and protected him so much.
Right.
And I think we all feel like that in this community. We all feel very protective, and we all worry, and that's part of why we're all here, to support you and support each other.
Yeah, I really feel like I'm losing my mind lately. I'm telling you.
I know.
I
know.
I don't know. Like things
maybe
happen, and I say that
sleep.
happened before. Right, I know. I'm like, that happened before, but no, I got a lot of sleep last night. But I still, but I still like thought things that happened. Like I'm like, wait, that happened before. That happened before. I'm like, I'm freaking out, freaking myself out.
Yeah.
So
I'm freaking the freak out.
I am. Like I'm like so freaking out. Okay. I want to really have like a whole video. I'm not kidding. A videotape of like my entire life, so that you can go back and rewind and say, wait a minute, seriously, like a police cam, I think that would be really good to walk around with that just in my day-to-day life, just for me, just to, hang on for me so I can go back, see what people said, see what I saw, because the other day somebody said that, it was Apple Snapple said that I asked him about his kids, and I vaguely remember it.
Oh, that's a guy? Apple
Yeah,
Snapple's a guy?
yeah, it's
I
a
thought
guy.
it was a woman.
Yeah, no, it's a guy. And but then I was like, at that time, I was like, wait a minute, Apple Snapple, you have twins? And then it was coming back to me slowly, like, oh yeah, wait, I think I asked you about that, your twins. Okay, but that was you, yeah. And just like AriesGirl, I had all these flashbacks, and I can't get them out of my head when they're like, it's like I have to figure out where, because I guess it's the sleuth in me. I have to figure out exactly what happened, and that I'm not,
Exactly.
So I need that. I think
Work
I
that
really
puzzle.
need to get one of those police cams and just wear it constantly. And then I can go review things at the end of the day and then write them down, or I don't know, something. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah, but I can picture Jeff just laughing about all this stuff too, and just having a good sense of humor about things. And I wish I could have flown out there, but I guess everything's going to be private.
Yeah, that's what that's what it says, private. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think.
But we did that at church. Was it last night? And see, I'm going crazy too. They had their big service for the end of the year, and they wanted everybody to write down they gave everybody like a wood slat, and they wanted everybody to write down something or someone on it that you wanted to keep lit in your heart for Jesus going forward. And I wrote RJ, Heather, and MRB. And then today we all burned them because we want to keep that fire lit. We want to keep it lit and in our hearts going forward.
Oh, that's nice.
And I think he would have thought that was kind of cool.
Yes, absolutely. And there's Eric. What's Eric doing? Congratulations, mods, Jeff, Gail, and Heather. Thanks, Eric. Carolyn, mods, Jeff, Gail, and Heather. Thank you, Eric. Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't know.
So yeah, he would have been he would have been.
I tell you, he would have been thrilled that his channel gained like 300 subscribers or something, and probably more than that now. I just wish it could have happened for him when he saw it, like when he was here, because I think that's something that really bothered him.
Frustrated him?
Yeah, frustrated him, because I guess like there was like drama, and if you did drama, you gained the subscribers really fast, and I know that was something that was frustrating, but I'm sure he sees it now, and it would, just I wish
he's in a much better place, and he's not in pain anymore. But I'm convinced he can see all of this, and he is probably just having a great time, laughing and flying with the angels and seeing his dad again.
Yeah.
I like to think that maybe, everybody up there is just having a big old party.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yep. I mean, promoting channels before they're gone at Sierra. I think. What do you mean before they're gone? I think people are under the impression. I just want to clear that up. Somebody said that, I know there was like a rumor that smaller channels, if they're smaller, if they're not getting views, they were going to be gone. No, they said that's not true. That was in the creators, whatever they have for creators, this special like video, educational videos. That was not true, because anybody can have a channel, maybe only have a few videos that they keep even on private of their kids or whatever. They're not going to go away. They're not going to take them away. That was a rumor. So the ones that are at risk are the ones that are hate channels, the ones that are bullying, the ones that are harassing. Those channels, those are at risk. Yes. Good riddance. But
Absolutely.
yeah, but yeah, not just because a channel is small, because there's plenty of people that just have a channel just with their like family videos on it, and it's never going to have. They don't even keep them private. They keep them private, or they keep them unlisted. No, they're not getting rid of those. That was a rumor. So that's not
That's good.
a problem. It's just, I think it's just if they're bullying or harassing or stuff like that. Hey, Mona, thank
They
you,
need to have
sweetie.
They need to have YouTube cops.
YouTube cops, YouTube police, yeah. Is that
Bad boys, bad boys.
is that a sticker, Mona? Is that one of those new stickers? Is that what that is? Thank you. Thanks. That's cute. Is that a pear? A pear.
Well,
Looks
I
like he's
also
doing
would
aerobics.
like to offer
Or no,
the
he's
Aries
saying
girl.
thank you very much. Okay, some yoga maybe. What?
I would also like to offer to Aries Girl if she ever wants to chat. Needs some support, kind ear, whatever. I would love to have a conversation with her.
Okay, Aries girl, if you'd like to connect with Jennifer,
Is
just email me and
Just an offer, no pressure.
no pressure. Don't forget, Two Scooter says, don't forget to hit the likes. It's your last chance for this year.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, is this Monday?
We'll probably see
Or
each other
Tuesday?
next year, you know? I probably won't see you till next year after this.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Long
always,
time.
That's always fun, right? I heard Frankie's video. Yeah, I don't know. I did see that, but I am not sure what that was about. But yeah. So anyway, Summer, Hennessy. What else do we have? That's good to hear. What else? Anything else? You haven't been here in a while. We're chatting about. We're just Summer. We were chatting about a couple of cases, and then we had Aries Girl come on and tell us about a real case that she was involved in, her real life, which is pretty horrific to start with. But thankfully, she ended up having a good life thanks to her adoptive parents.
She's a super special person.
Mm-hmm.
It takes super special people to go through stuff like that and not come out the other side a horrible human being. So she's like a hero in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and Evie says everybody will be writing 2019 until March. Except that we don't really write dates anymore. Like, remember we used to write a lot of checks? Now you don't really write so many checks anymore. I hardly ever, write checks anymore. On checks,
they're not even teaching cursive in school anymore, are they?
But they are in our school. They decided that they're going to. They're going to keep it in. Yeah, they're going to keep it in. But yeah, it's weird. I remember in 4th grade, I think it was, we had to bring in like a voided check of our parents because they taught us how to write a check. Like a real check. They made sure, that was like something in school, how to write a check.
I can remember being so excited about that. You felt so grown up, right?
Yeah, right? Writing a check in 4th grade,
We wanted to grow up so fast back then. I mean, it was like, oh, we get to write a check. And oh, my goodness, we get to go to the grocery store and get grocery shopping with Mom. That's what we all, wanted. Now kids today are like,
they got the debit card.
Yep.
But yeah, they don't even. Some schools, I think, Gigi, aren't teaching cursive. You haven't owned a checkbook for about 20 years. I have them, but only because, like, occasionally I have to write a check. But most of my bills and everything, my insurances, all come directly out of my account. I use the debit card for everything else. And when debit cards first came out, I was appalled when the bank called me and they're like, would you like a debit card? I'm like, what is a debit card? And they go, well, you can use it for like your groceries or anything. You don't have to carry your cash around. You don't have to write checks. And I remember thinking, like, who would ever want to do that? I'm like,
Yeah,
I felt like, I don't know, I didn't get it fully. I thought it was going to be like a credit card and it was going to be a big bill at the end of the month and not know, right? Not that it was like,
exactly.
I just felt like I had better control when I had my checkbook or I had my cash, right? I knew. And I couldn't even understand it at the time. I was like, what? Who would want that? You know, now I don't,
Now it's called press a button.
yeah,
Just
now
press
it's
that
like, of
confirm
course,
button.
you know what you're spending because it is, you've been trained that that's cash, right? So that comes directly out of your account, just, you know, but at the time, I couldn't even grasp it. A debit card,
Exactly.
you know, yeah. My sister still writes checks all over, and she drives people nuts, and she loves to do it like in ShopRite because they don't have any self checkout, so she writes checks for everything. So,
I
and
have to
she's
write
like,
a check for my landlord, so
she just writes checks all over, and she's getting so bad now. Like, I don't know. I'm a little bit scared for her, because she never used to carry cash around, and now she carries cash around all the time, and she doesn't know where she puts. This sounds terrible, right? Like she's losing her mind. But really, I'm not joking. Like you just go in the car and she randomly has cash in all these different places. And then like she doesn't even remember like how much cash, and I'm talking about like she'll cash like her paycheck, so she's got a lot of cash around. And I'm like, why? And she never did that. Like it was the exact opposite when we were younger with our kids, because I was the one that always had cash and she was always with the checks. And now it's the exact opposite. So, and I'm just like, she makes me so scared because it's like all over. I'm like, are you keeping track of that? And the other day, her husband and her they went to a winery, right? Her and her husband. And they had whatever they had, their wine, whatever it was. And they got out and she had cashed her paycheck and had all the cash like in this little clutch. And she hung it over the back of the chair, right? They got out of the winery. They said, what are we going to do for dinner? They said, well, let's go to the supermarket. They were already like 15, 20 minutes away from the winery. They go to the supermarket, and he says, do you have, you know, and she goes, I don't have my purse. Right? So they go all the way back to the winery. She's freaking out because he goes, what did you have in it? Did you have a lot of cash? She says, well, I wasn't going to tell him I just cashed my paycheck, right? Had all the cash in there. So she says,
no.
oh, no, just, just, you know, a little bit. That's, yeah, just a little, I don't know, $20, $40, something like that. So then she's sweating, like getting back to the winery, right? She goes to the winery and she like runs in there and she's like, did someone bring back? And then the guy hands it to her from under the cabinet and it had all the cash in there.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. But
Wow.
I said, and then she almost like, we were having lunch with my cousin and she almost left her bag. And I'm like, I'm really worried about you. Are you okay? You know, because I'm just like, crap. She's like, yeah. I'm just like, and maybe you shouldn't carry cash around. But I don't know why I have to ask her why she's doing that. Because she should just deposit it in the bank and use the debit card. I don't know. Now she's like freaking out. You thought I'm laughing at Carolyn's stories. My daughter does that with money on her ATM card. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. And then you know what I thought about? I never told you guys this. Listen to this one. Oh my gosh. When Luke was like a newborn, like, okay, he was born the December 24th, and then it was Easter, right? So it was, I mean, I could show you the picture. He was so tiny because he was born he was born at 7 pounds, 15 ounces, but then he had to go back in, he had to go under the lights in the nursery, and he ended up, when we brought him back in there, he was like 5 pounds something. And then when we got him out a couple of days later, we had to go buy him preemie clothes because he couldn't even fit in the newborn clothes. It was crazy. So when he was 4, I think it was like 4 weeks, we went to go get the picture with the Easter bunny. So we took Ethan, who was not even 2 yet, and Luke, and we went to see the Easter bunny. And of course, I brought my big DSLR camera, right, with the big lens, everything. Because I brought it even though we got the Easter, I just brought it around. I bring it everywhere usually. And then we stopped at the Home Depot, okay? This is no joke. We get out of the van, and I have my DSLR on my seat, as I got out. I left it there on the seat. We went into the Home Depot. I don't know how long we were in the Home Depot. 20, 30, 40 minutes. We come out. I left the passenger door wide open. Okay? There was my camera still on the seat. I wrote about it in Facebook. I could not even believe it, okay? My camera was there. It was right on the seat, and it was still there. Don't ask me. I must have been losing my mind back then, too. But and I'm like, oh, my gosh, how did I do that? I don't know. But
I'll tell you what, in West Virginia, my brother came. He flew in to help me move. He flew in on Thursday. We moved what I could on Friday, and then he flew out back to Houston on Saturday. And he kept saying, Jen, you're not gonna leave this in here, right? I'm like, what? Why? Leave it in the Jeep is what he's talking about. I think I left. Gosh, I don't know. It was something that I found insignificant. But, like, just a couple of things in the back of the Jeep. I'm like, I'm locking it. What's the big deal? He's like, Jen, you can't do that. You know, somebody's going to break into your car. I'm like, it's Marietta. Okay? This isn't Houston. It's going to still be there. Nobody's breaking into my car. But I guess when you're from a really big town like Houston or New York or whatever, you just expect, well, you can't leave anything out ever anywhere because somebody's just going to take it. But I can't tell you. I've never had my car broken into. I've left my car unlocked with stuff in it before, and nobody's ever bothered it. But it's just a different, I guess, mindset. There's just not that much to worry about in that regard here. But he was just freaking the freak out.
yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah, I guess
He was
I think,
freaking
like,
out.
I don't know. I mean, my daughter too, she'll freak out too. Like if I have something, put something on top of it. Even Jimmy, like, and I usually do. I usually like won't leave my camera on the front seat, even if I lock. I'll put it in the back. I'll put something on it. But
Oh, it was my phone. It was my iPhone.
Your
I had
iPhone.
left it in there because it was charging. I'm like, it's charging. Leave it alone. Yes, they're going to break in. No, they're not. It's Marietta.
and,
But yeah, isn't that weird
Yeah.
how it is? But
I came out like I think I saw the door first, and I was like, oh my gosh, right? And then I'm just like, and the camera, like I would have been more upset about the chip and like all the pictures I had on it, right? So,
Oh, of
but I
course,
was
of
like,
course.
I was like freaking, and I'm like, I just could not believe it. I remember I wrote a Facebook post about it because I was just so shocked, absolutely shocked, because it wasn't just like the doors were, unlocked, and I went in there. The door was wide open.
wide open.
Wide
Yeah.
open. Yeah, and I'm just like, how? But then I think like some people must say like, nobody would do that. It's probably somebody in the back of that van, or there's probably some, right? Like they might think like, maybe they're around the other side. Maybe they just went to the cart return.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I mean, most people are like, what the hell? Okay. Or it's a trap. It's
But
a setup.
That's interesting, though, because you don't live in a tiny town, right?
Well, I live in a
And
tiny
nobody bothered it.
I live in a teeny tiny town, but we were not in a teeny tiny town then. We were in,
Oh.
Home Depot's in a bigger town. So yeah, nobody bothered it. I live in
That's
a tiny
kind of
town. It doesn't even
interesting.
have a traffic light. I live in a tiny town where you can leave
Yeah.
like major UPS packages. You could leave them for 3 days
Yep.
down on the rock at the end of your driveway, and nobody will touch them. They
Yep.
could even say TV on them. They could say like, home theater, whatever it is,
Yes.
gold bars.
Xbox Deluxe.
Yeah,
in this box right here.
carton of Xboxes. Yeah, nobody will bother them. Nobody will
nice.
bother them.
That's
You might
nice.
find somebody that might steal firewood, believe it or not. That'll come by if you have a pile like close to the road. You might see somebody come in and nab some of those, but you're not going to see someone take your boxes.
Wow.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
funny.
yeah. Even during like hunting season when there could be people up there. Yeah, just not knock on wood. They just You never have to worry about having your like we could go out like on the way down the driveway because usually they leave this stuff down on this big rock that we this big. But now I'm telling everybody, go down to the bottom of our driveway. There's a big boulder. That's where they leave the UPS packages.
Just FYI.
We have cameras though, so you'll get caught. But
good.
so usually they do that because we always had Delilah, and people were scared to death of Delilah, so they would leave it down there. Now that we, unfortunately don't have Delilah, I think they've been coming up, but some of them are still in the habit of leaving them down there, and it's easier for them. They don't have to come up and back down because our driveway is pretty brutal. So I think they like the idea of just leaving it down there. We thought of putting it like a lockbox or something down there on the big boulder, but usually they leave it on the big boulder, and just that's it.
That's really nice that you're able to do that. That's good.
Your TV didn't even make it to your porch? Oh, really? Mrs. Roger Rabbit? You have 4 palms. There's no way he touched my porch. Oh, really? Yikes.
Wow.
Crazy. Hi, Bergstrom. No porch pirates in New York. Well, I'm sure they have them in New York. Just we live on a private lake at Sierra in a very, very teeny tiny little town, and thankfully no pirates, no boulder pirates. We would need a boulder pirate. The packages usually don't come up to our porch, but nobody would. I don't think. Yeah, especially It's just we live set up high on the hill. Our driveway is very, very steep, and our driveway is not even one you can get away fast out of because it's so steep, right? And because it has a large mouth that you could turn around in, but you can't turn around in it now because either we have our cars parked up there, or Jimmy's got this jacuzzi tub. I told you that's still in the driveway. We did get that was going to be a pond, but I have to admit, he did get rid of stuff on Let It Go for free. He got rid of a patio set and like a bunch of stuff that they took. So it's getting close to, but now we just got to get the whirlpool tub somewhere. And then, but they still can't turn around because usually my car blocks it. So they have to back down, and it's very treacherous, especially you're not going to be backing down it fast unless you're Jimmy, who's used to it. You're not going to back down it fast, and so you're going to get caught if you decide to do that. And you're most likely going to run off into a ditch because almost everybody that tries it the first time, my cousin's daughter ran off into over the side. We've had a lot of people that just run off over the side. So.
Wow, that must be awful when it's icy.
Oh, when it's icy, Jimmy ran into, oh my gosh, last year. That's what he wanted to go out today, and it was icy. And Ethan wanted to go to a friend's house that was down, and then Jimmy had to go mail the guitar because he sold one of his guitars. So he said, I've got to go over. I said, you better be careful because exactly almost this time last year, he went to take Luke to a friend's house or something, or pick Luke up from somewhere. And he didn't think it was that icy, and he's told Ethan, hang on, because they're sliding, and right into a tree.
Wow.
Right into a tree, and he, destroyed his whole front bumper and everything. But, he got it all repaired. Yeah, he's lucky that it was just that. But he wasn't going that far. But you could end up in the lake. But they were walking on the lake. I couldn't believe it. And I said, you guys didn't take pictures? And then finally my cousin's son took one picture of Luke, which I have to put up there. I can't believe it. Yeah, they said the lake was frozen enough. They were walking around on it. And
oh, that would scare me.
Yeah,
that's like that scene from Dead Zone, the ice is going to break.
Well, you can hear the cracks, but the cracks are not from the walking on it. The only time they went to that log, the log I used to take the turtles on, that sticks out of the lake during the winter. So my cousin's son took Lou over there, took a picture, and he told Lou, don't step on the log because the log moves, right? He said, if don't step on the log because the log will break the ice, and we'll all fall in. Yeah, so that wouldn't be good. So Luke was like, so I didn't step on the log. I don't think that, I guess.
That's good.
That was good, but they said the log, they cut a piece. My cousin, what he does is he cuts a piece out of the ice to see how thick the ice is. And the ice, I think, was 8 inches with like 4 inches of snow on top. So,
Do y'all ever go ice fishing?
oh yeah, we have. I mean, Jimmy's not big into fishing, but we have. I mean, we have the guys that sided my house. They used to go ice fishing after work. You know, I mean, but
That that seems like a miserable thing to do to me.
ice fishing.
Just cold.
Yeah,
Being out there.
cold. I know, but my son has gone with like friends, and they make it fun. They have like a fire, and then they have like a bunch of stuff. But he went on another lake because there's a few lakes around here, but another lake that his friends live on, and they had a good time. You can skate, yeah, you can skate. We've skated, yeah. You know, but you've got to
Wow.
clean it off. You got to clean the snow off, and there's, you know, it's not like there's no Zamboni that goes on it. So it's, you know, there's natural bumps and stuff in it, so you've got to be a little careful. But yeah, you can skate on it. You can walk across it. People snowmobile, you know, on it and stuff like that. So
That's really nice for the kids to have all that.
yeah, oh, it's nice. I like it much better in the summer when you could swim in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a summer person. I really am. I'm just like, winter is like okay for a little bit if it's not too cold, but if it's frigid, and I don't know. Jimmy took some nice. I got to put it up. He drove around in the ice. This ice. That's why I was scared. I said, "Don't go down the driveway. You'll crack your car up again. You know, you shoot your eye out with that. You'll crack your car up again." He's like, "Yeah, because I should have that on a decal." Jimmy, don't go down. You'll crack your car up again. But he did. He went out in the ice, and then he took pictures. And then he said, "I said, how come you had to stop?" Because he got ice all encapsulated on the trees. And he said, "I had to stop because the roads were pretty bad." I'm like, "Oh, that's good, Jimmy." But you kept going. Okay. Yeah. Just avoid Tanya Harding. She's not. Yeah. She's not so bad, Eric. I don't think didn't she. She was. What is she now? She was a wrestler, right? Not anymore because she's like close to 50, isn't she? I don't think she's wrestling anymore. Isn't that scary that she's like, yeah. Hello, Atsira. Hello, Atsira.
Well, I'll let you go because you probably need to go to bed too.
Yeah. You're a summer person and live up north. That cracks me up. Because the summer is beautiful up here, Mrs. Roger Rabbit. It really is. Okay, thanks,
Summer.
Jen. Thanks for calling in. Good luck and stay safe.
Okay. I will.
All right. Oh, and then for those
Talk
of
to you later.
Okay, bye, Jen. Those of you that were worried about Luke, knock on wood. It must have just been a freaky thing because he didn't throw up anymore, and he felt fine today, and he ate everything. So I think he just had like too many hot peppers or something. I don't know what it was, but gosh, yeah, I was nervous, and then I forgot all about it. And when I woke up, I was like, wait a minute, I didn't hear Luke throw up at all. Maybe he's not really sick. And, oh, you were saying hello to the newcomers. It was the peppers. Yeah, I think he probably had too many hot peppers. He eats hot peppers, but I think he just had too many. Or something. I don't know what the heck was, but thankfully, oh my gosh. I was like freaking, and then I was like psychosomatic. I thought, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, my stomach doesn't feel. But Jennifer James, all right, I guess we'll call it a night. Thanks, Beth. And you guys can all get ready for New Year's. In the UK, you have what? How many hours? Somebody said 6 hours, but they were in China or something? What time is it? It's 5, 4, 9. It's going to be 9 o'clock in the UK, right? 9 in the morning. Hi, Evelyn. How are you? He's practicing. Oh, gosh. Jeanette Quinn gets New Year first. Oh, she gets the New Year first? Ooh, Jeanette Quinn? Only 1 hour and 15 minutes? Wait a minute, where is she? You have 14 hours, Pitbull? Bella says she has 55 hours. Where, You can't believe it's so near? Do you ever freak out around the new year? Like you freak out around the new year that are you going to make it to the new year? Like, I don't know, like there's going to be something freaky. Like I freak out to like 10 seconds before if I'm really going to be at the new year. Like, I don't know. I get this freaky feeling. You're in New Zealand and it's an out really. Wow. Okay. A happy new year to you. All right, happy new year, everybody. I'll see you in the new year, hopefully, God willing. I'm gonna start saying that now, God willing. I never used to understand that when people said that as a kid. God willing, I'll be here tomorrow. Teachers used to say it. God willing, we'll all be here tomorrow. But yeah, it is true. Your brother-in-law's room. Oh, Purple, I'm so sorry. Prayers again for him, Purple. So sorry. You think it's just me? Probably is. It probably is. It probably is. So, God willing, yep. Till we meet again. All right. Your grandmother used to say that all the time? Okay. So anyway, you guys take care. God bless. Love you. God willing, we'll see each other in the new year. And, yep, Happy New Year to everybody. Big group hug. All right. Love you guys. See you later.